taking live calls, and I'm going to break down everything that happened in this courtroom yesterday in New York where Micheal Cohen took the witness stand and cleared the greatest president ever of any wrongdoing, and that, of course, is Donald Trump. It's absolutely amazing how well this case is going for Trump. I am in shock at how well it's going for Trump. And I'm going to break down because we're on the prosecution side. So at this point, you would imagine that the worst it can be for Trump is during the prosecution period, and all they've done is clear him time and time again. We are 22 seconds away from showtime. Stand by.
Warranty. So call Slomin's today at 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050.
Slomin is a no-brainer. Call 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, it is Tuesday, May 14th, 2024. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show. That's right, the Steve Kane Show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the radio. What a great day Donald Trump had in court. You know, this is really amazing. It's been a theme since this crooked judge's trial in New York City has begun. Each and every witness has cleared President Trump. And you know, the thing about it is, we're on the prosecution part of the case. The defense, they've done a little bit of cross, but the defense hasn't even called a witness yet. It's still the prosecution's time. I have never in my life seen a case where the prosecution witnesses in this case, have 100% cleared a defendant of any wrongdoing. And this began with the National Enquirer boss up until Micheal Cohen yesterday. And Micheal Cohen's testimony was devastating to the prosecution. I want to take your calls on this and we'll talk about it, but it's really fantastic how well things are going for Donald Trump, and it's a miracle and amazing because this is the prosecution's time. What's been going on with these witnesses the last couple of weeks, this is the worst it's going to be because this is the prosecution. And last week, when the Stormy Daniels testimony fizzled and cleared Trump, she had nothing, it was a disaster, they said, don't worry, next week Micheal Cohen will be on the stand and that'll be it. And I keep telling you guys, with these never-Trumper lunatics, it's always, okay, this fizzled, but the next thing, that's going to get them. And the next thing never gets them. It fizzles out, too. Not just in this trial, but in everything they've been doing with Trump since he came down the escalator in 2015. This is insane what's going on. Now, if this were a real court of law, there would have been a mistrial long ago. But the judge's daughter took the $10 million, so he can't declare a mistrial. But I would imagine the powers that be that are behind all of this lawfare have been in some serious discussions on an exit strategy. You know, this happened with the Mueller report. If you remember, Mueller's investigation had spent tens of millions of dollars, went on for a long, long time, and they had nothing. And they were looking to give Mueller an out. So they brought in an attorney general that was friends with him, and he gave him an out. Right now, they're looking for an out for this prosecution. It's that bad. You know, when this trial began, conventional thinking was a conviction. The best we can hope for is a hung jury. It's a New York City jury. And here we are with the star witness of the whole case, scumbag attorney Micheal Cohen, who cleared Trump yesterday. Trump is not guilty of any wrongdoing, according to the testimony of Micheal Cohen yesterday. So, yeah, I know. It's hard to believe, isn't it? So, how are they going to get out of this? You know, right now, it's impossible to predict how a jury would come down. But I'll ask you guys, what do you think is, and you can call me on the air about this if you'd like, which do you think is the most likely outcome in this case? A jury verdict, and I'm not talking about guilt or innocence, a verdict. Will they take this to jury verdict? Will the judge declare a mistrial? Or will we have a hung jury at some point? My throat's a little dry because I did something insane today. I did a hour and 15-minute live stream on YouTube this morning because I finished all my show prep so early, and I wore out my voice a little bit. So I have to drink some water and coffee here early on to try to... See, I'm choking. I'll get some water during the first break. But I might have to take the first break early, Mike. I'll get my voice on track. But what is most likely, in your opinion, at this point? A jury verdict, I'm not worried about guilt or innocence with this, a jury verdict, a hung jury, or a mistrial? Because right now, with everything that has happened, even with a New York City jury, an acquittal is possible. It is very possible in this case right now with everything that has happened. Look at what's going on with the pundits on CNN. Even they're talking about how bad things are going for the prosecution. So when CNN, MSNBC, Bill Maher are telling you that Trump is winning this trial during the prosecution phase, that tells you right there that an acquittal is possible. Now, it may not be the most likely because you got a New York City juror. Now, if we get a hung jury, before the trial began, we were thinking hung jury. But the thinking was at the time there'd be like one or two not guilties and the rest would be guilty. But right now, I think the odds, if there's a hung jury, it'll be one, maybe two holdouts going guilty with the rest going not guilty. How could, with the testimony we've seen in this prosecution's pathetic case in this corrupt courtroom in New York, how could a jury in good conscience come back with a guilty verdict, even a jury of Trump haters? I know, it's a pretty big deal. Now, so far as the mistrial, if this judge were not corrupt and was a real judge, instead of a crooked judge, there'd be a mistrial already. But he can't do it since his daughter took the $10 million. So, and she's still making money off the trial. So, making a lot of money. The powers that be have to decide. Do we let it go to verdict? Risk an acquittal? Risk a hung jury with the vast majority in the favor of not guilty in a hung jury? Because we will get a count of the guilty versus not guilty in a hung jury. Or should we go to mistrial? See, an acquittal or a hung jury with the majority in favor of acquittal is devastating to these never Trump derangement syndrome sufferers because even a hung jury, if there's one or two holdouts on guilty and 9 or 10 or 11 go not guilty, that's almost as good as an acquittal so far as the PR machine goes, public perception. They do not want Donald Trump cleared of anything. They want a cloud of criminal activity over his head. If there's a mistrial, there's still a cloud, because if there's a mistrial, the prosecution gets a do-over, possibly. They have to decide, are they going to charge again? Are they going to go back for another trial? And then they know what they did wrong in the first one, and they can regroup. So there's serious discussions going on right now. And the rally of 100,000 in New Jersey scared the living daylights out of these people. Now, not only did Micheal Cohen, like all the other witnesses, clear Trump yesterday, one of the biggest Trump haters out there, Megyn Kelly, even said yesterday, for the first time, she now believes that Donald Trump did not have sex with Stormy Daniels. Now, she hates Trump. Okay, she'll always hate Trump. Megyn Kelly hates men. Hates men. At least strong, manly men. That's just it. I mean, that's her whole thing, is bringing men down. She's, that Me Too and everything. She doesn't publicly admit hating Trump anymore. She tries to play both sides because she's trying to build an audience and everything on her own. And she knows if she comes out as anti-Trump, she'll lose a lot of people. But she came out and said that she now believes and now knows that Trump didn't have sex with Stormy Daniels. But she does believe Karen McDougal. Now, I told you guys earlier this over the weekend and yesterday, after the show's over, don't do it now, go watch Karen McDougal's full TV interview. She's full of it. She has nothing but vague generalities that you could find out about, with a Google search. Trump's secretary's name and the bodyguard name. We found out that Michael Cohen, last week when Stormy Daniels' lawyer testified, we found out that Michael Cohen had a previous relationship with Karen McDougal's attorney. And what I have suspected for a long time, which has been confirmed by last week's testimony and Michael Cohen today or yesterday, is that it looks as if, quite possibly, Michael Cohen was stealing money from Donald Trump. You know, this phone conversation between Stormy Daniels' lawyer, we got a transcript of it, and Michael Cohen, Stormy Daniels and her attorney wanted $100,000. And Michael Cohen got, what, $135,000 when he took that home equity loan? The $35,000 is his commission. Was it Hope Hicks last week that testified? One of the Trump assistants. No, it wasn't Hope Hicks. Was it Hope Hicks that said he would break things, Michael Cohen, and fix them? Michael Cohen was behind all of this. He'd been stealing money from Trump probably for years in many different ways, and this is one of them, ways he was doing it. And I'm surprised none of the legal pundits have gotten into this. He was embezzling money. It looks like, according to the testimony, he was embezzling money from Trump through who knows what else other than these two women. And Karen McDougal, when I've heard her tell her story, is so vague. There's no specifics, like what kind of underwear was Donald Trump wearing? That's a key thing. Many men are pretty loyal to their underwear. Remember Bill Clinton at the MTV town hall we did when he was running for president the first time? Someone said boxers or briefs. I haven't heard Karen McDougal say, does he wear boxers or briefs? Are they cotton, silk, or satin? What's the pattern? What color was his underwear? These are things she would have seen and known if she had had an affair with him. What she has are vague generalities, very few specifics. Now, a lot of people want to believe Karen McDougal because she's a Playboy girl. You know, Playboy playmates are sex workers too. They're just higher up on the totem pole, okay? Stormy Daniels is she's not the lowest level, but she's close to it. And Playboy playmates are usually prettier and a little more articulate and all this stuff. But she's not really. When I was very surprised. When I watched her full 1 hour interview, I was surprised at how vague her story was and how inarticulate she was. But at the time that this happened, she's very good looking. I mean, Playboy models. So a lot of people like Megyn Kelly who openly say they don't believe Stormy Daniels, but they believe Karen McDougal. They believe Karen McDougal for a couple reasons. One, they want to believe it because they hate Trump. She didn't have sex with Trump either, McDougal, I'm here to tell you. And also because she, you know, at the time it happened, she was a little classier looking, although still sex workers, Playboy playmates. Classier looking, they can in their mind picture Trump with someone like that. It's not true. Not true. And her testimony is going to fall apart too. They're already moving on from Michael Cohen to Karen McDougal because Michael Cohen has crashed and burned. And by the way, Karen McDougal has not aged well. You know, another thing about, if you're on hold, stand by. Another thing about Michael Cohen, it was widely reported yesterday by people in the courtroom that he was shaking while on the witness stand. Why would he be shaking if he was telling the truth? You know, it's easy for him to lie about Trump on CNN and MSNBC and on his TikTok videos, but to do it to his face made him nervous. He was scared because he was lying to the man's face. That's why he was shaking yesterday. So we'll take our first break of the day, come back with your calls. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE1. This is
It is really hot in here. I'll be right back, guys. I don't know if you guys can still hear me. I'm at the water cooler. This remote mic's supposed to work like maybe 25 feet away. So I'm not sure if you can hear me. Say, yes, I can hear you. And then I'll know if you can hear me. Yes, wow, that's pretty good. That was pretty far away. Wow. That's amazing. It's a good mic. Well worth it. The money it cost me. A lot of people on YouTube use these. Loud and clear. That's awesome. If you're on hold, hang in there. Now, by the way, guys, if you want to support my channel and everything I'm doing, go to mypillow.com. Use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Huge sales going on there. You can use my promo code site-wide and free shipping on orders over $75. And when you do that, you, of course, are supporting all of my content.
Suffer from neuropathy? Maybe you do and you don't even know it. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, or tingling in your hands and feet? Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching? Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. The symptoms can make life unbearable, but there is help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642. When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to any lab test now at Boca and any lab test now at Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed. And you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor can order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care.
Now, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. You know, I am just 80 subscribers away from 75,000 subscribers. So everyone, if you think you're subscribed, go and check and make sure you are. Just 80 subscribers away from 75,000. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it.
95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True.
All right, 20 minutes after the hour. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888-465-2631. I want to talk about MyPillow. You know, the specials are just massive at MyPillow.com. You know, you can get the MyPillow sheets for as low as $25. I want to talk about the Giza Cotton Dream Sheets because I've been sleeping on these since Mike Lindell first started offering them. The Giza Cotton Dream Sheets are amazing. First of all, they're made of 100% Giza cotton, which is the finest cotton in the world. And what that does is regulate your body temperature all year long. Right now, it's hot, right? I'm cool and comfortable in the perfect temperature like Goldilocks with my Giza sheets from MyPillow. In the wintertime, when it's cold, same thing. It's amazing, that Giza cotton. Finest cotton in the world. And, you know, I have several sets of these, and the oldest ones I have they look just like the day they arrived in the mail because everything Mike Lindell makes is high quality. But a super cool thing about Mike Lindell sheets that just blew my mind when we first got them, and even after I've washed them, I don't know how many times all these years, the fitted sheet at the bottom fits on all four corners perfectly without effort. You know, with other sheets, you know how it is. You get one corner on perfectly. The second corner, you have to go to the other side of the bed. You get it on most of the way. The third corner, you get on maybe a quarter of the way. And then that fourth corner on your fitted sheet, you're using all of your body strength just to get it a centimeter, maybe even less, over the corner to keep it in place. With Mike Lindell's 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets available at MyPillow.com, as low as $25 on the sheets with our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. All four corners fit on perfectly. By the way, even with the mattress topper, just need 2 fingers and a thumb with no effort. Boom, 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 boom. They're on. Perfect. They'll blow your mind. It's unbelievable. You'll also find great Father's Day gifts. The MyPillow slippers as low as $25. The MyPillow's huge deals on those too. And there is plenty of time to do your shopping before Father's Day. Huge savings with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and also free shipping on all orders over $75 with our promo code Kane. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Hey, Jeff, what's up?
Hey, I believe that the Democrats now just want the perception of guilt. You know, they're always, since June 2015, they have continually attacked him and found him guilty of nothing, but they want the American people to think, you know, he's guilty of something. They've lost their mind, and as far as I'm
You can call the
concerned.
numbers pinned at the
Both
top of the
pieces
chat,
are
Jasmine.
unraveling, falling apart. There's no way he's going to be found guilty, I don't believe. And
No.
My second opinion thought is, where's Kamala Harris? Where is she? What is she doing? Why isn't she doing what all other vice presidents do during a president of the United States re-election? That's very telling. She's unlikable, unelectable, and the Democrats have no one nationally that is likable or electable, so they keep running Biden.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but I know this, that this trial is not going the way that they thought it would go. I mean, when you have CNN saying that the trial's a disaster for the prosecution and good for Trump, you know it's bad.
Yep. The both cases should have been, you know, is it the one in New York? It was misdemeanors. It's past the statute of limitations. They trumped it up to felony.
And don't forget, these are federal crimes that they're charging him with in state court, which is not allowed. It's not even within their jurisdiction. It's not. These charges are not even within the jurisdiction of the prosecutor or the judge.
And I believe that this is, you know, are we going to see justice for these people that brought the charges, knowing that the national people wouldn't do it? You know, what was it, the Attorney General and everyone else that looked at it? Nothing here. So who's pushing this? Do you think?
And the Federal Elections Commission. They said there was nothing there either.
Very excellent point, Brian. No one was going to press charges against Trump, and why would they do it at a state level? And that's why I go back to my first point.
George Soros, that's why.
Perception.
George Soros.
Yes. Yeah. I agree, Brian.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, it's good to hear from you. I appreciate the call. All right, take care. Yeah. I mean, that, you know, everything Jeff said's right. These are misdemeanors, not felonies, that they're calling felonies. It's not within the jurisdiction of this judge or prosecutor. You know, who's behind it? Well, George Soros is behind Bragg, but it's bigger than that. It's the Democrats, and it's the Republican establishment. You know, yesterday it was interesting. We had J.D. Vance and other Republicans, senior Republicans, that went to court with Trump. Tuberville, there were some states' attorney generals there, a couple of them. You know, and that's new. And I saw today that Vivek Ramaswamy may be going to court with Trump. You see what's going on? Finally, we have the Republicans circling the wagons around Trump, calling out these lawfare people for what it is that they are doing. And, you know, when it comes to cases like this, public perception is all these people care about, because they knew they got nothing on Trump, but they want the perception that he's a criminal. And when the prosecutor's own witnesses are clearing him day after day, this is not what they were expecting. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's Jasmine. How are you?
All right, Jasmine. What's up? Turn off the volume of turn off the volume of what. Hold on. Before we get to your joke, turn the volume down of whatever you're listening to me on in the background. Hold on. Then you can get to your prepared attempt at something. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You still didn't do it. All right. It's too bad. I thought you were going to get your perversion out, but I'm not going to do it with the volume on in the background. Oh, my goodness. Oh, boy. All right. I don't mind being attacked. I don't mind people trying to do the Baba Booies and all, but you got to turn the volume down of whatever device you're listening to in the background because there's a delay. And the delay, depending on where you're listening, can be quite long. All right, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's 28 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
We'll find out. And by the way, because I didn't have time, I didn't finish talking about the sheet. This is the lowest price ever on the MyPillow sheets right now. So now's the time to load up with my promo code Kane. And remember, when you go to MyPillow.com and you use my promo code Kane, you're supporting all of my content, including this channel. Yeah, they're like taking turns. I guess he can bring a limited number of people with him every day. So there's like a waiting list. Think about that. This is like the hottest ticket in New York since Studio 54 is to go to trial with Trump. Whatever, we'll find out, Jasmine. All right, whatever. All right, where am I? So, as I was saying, I am less than 80 subscribers away from 75,000. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And everyone who's already subbed, check and make sure you are subscribed. We are less than 80 subscribers away from 75,000. And, of course, it's free to do, to subscribe to the channel. I hope I'm not getting a cold. I just think I haven't got enough sleep this week with these rescue kittens that I have. I had to get up really early in the morning to feed these kittens. Oh, yeah, evil genius. Very true. Perfect. No, I doubt that. I've got allergies from the cats. I'm allergic to cats. It's okay for me to have them, but I got to hold them to feed them with the bottle and everything too close to my face, and they're causing me sinus and breathing problems. Pepsi and cola are the two kittens, yes. Pepsi and cola. I was, they were crawling on me this morning, so, and I started having breathing problems. I'll show them on a live stream this week. They've gotten bigger since we've had them Friday, but they're about this big, they're very tiny. Yep, Pepsi and cola. Yeah. It is so damn hot in the studio. I turned the air conditioning down to 69 degrees, but let me see if it'll go down any lower.
out KA&E and buy your My Pillow 2.0 right now. Buy one.
I just turned it down to 67 degrees. All the radio equipment's hot, so. No, it's the cats. All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show. Micheal Cohen clears Trump. This is just, I mean, you couldn't plan it to go as well as it's going. All right, let's try this again. You're on the air. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Jasmine, California.
It's Jasmine.
It's me, yes. Hi.
Well, I'm all right. I know in California it's 3:30 in the morning. It's 6:30 here in Florida right now, so I don't expect you to be as awake as I am. But what's on your mind, Jasmine?
I love you guys. I love the Republican Party. Honestly, as a transsexual myself, I realized that, honestly, I'm done voting Democrat.
Yeah.
Like, there is a movement, and a huge movement, and the LGBT community also supports the Republican community, and I want you guys to know that, you know?
Really? So what are you, like transgender for Trump?
I'm actually a DACA recipient, Latina.
Oh my goodness, you're transgender and DACA? So.
Only one in the United States of America.
Oh my goodness, you should be able to monetize that somehow.
I'm also an ex-porn star model, but I realized...
Really? You're an ex-porn star model? Oh my goodness. Come on.
Just the Democrat Party, they don't serve the people anymore. I think that it's a joke. I think that they just fit a narrative, and I'm not about it anymore, you know?
So what are you doing up in California, a former porn star, transgender DACA recipient at 3:30 a.m. in California? You just getting home or something?
I was drinking a lot of alcohol.
No kidding. I never would have guessed that. What were you drinking?
Vodka and soda.
Vodka and soda. Why are you drinking so much? Why are you drinking so much during the week?
It's not like I'm just like downing alcohol. I was on YouTube just watching silly stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. I appreciate the call. Oh my goodness. Drunk transgenders for Trump. Okay. Oh my goodness. Hammered. When I was on overnights, and I used to do a show from 3 to 6 in the morning, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday mornings. And I would take live calls. Sometimes, some days of the week, the show started at 2, but mostly 3. And half the callers were drunk. A quarter of the callers worked as bouncers and managers at clubs. So, and then I used to get calls. There was one guy I used to get who was a repo guy. And he would call while he was repossessing people's cars in the middle of the night. But most people were drunk, so I'm very used to talking to drunks on the air. But not drunken transgender porn star DACA recipients. Oh, my goodness. That's a little much for me. I think maybe the alcohol was talking for Jasmine there. Now, getting back to everything that's going on, there's so much talk about, well, there's no way they're going to let Biden be the nominee. We're right before the convention. This convention, it's been widely reported. We were talking about it yesterday. This convention for the Democrats is going to be a disaster. First off, they have it in Chicago, which is like ground zero for the Islamic community in this country. They raised the Palestinian flag in Chicago over the weekend. And the Muslims in this country are constituents of the Democrats, and they're pissed because they view the Democrats as being pro-Israel. Can you imagine? I mean, here you got Biden selling out Israel. But, they said, the White House said the other day that they have the locations of all the Hamas leaders in Gaza, and they're withholding that from Israel. Well, how could they? That is insane that they gave that information out. What do you think happened? So the White House came out over the weekend and said, we are withholding the locations of the Hamas leaders in Gaza from Israel. We are not going to give it to them. And they released that publicly. What do you think happened? All the Hamas leaders changed their location. They moved to other locations. And what that was open communication with the Palestinian terrorists to move, to change your locations, because we know where you are, and if we know, the Israelis probably know. So they're also threatening to withhold ammunition from Israel. The Biden regime has been openly hostile to Israel, but that's not good enough for these Palestinian Muslim terrorist supporters who are also supporting rapists in this country. So this idea, because a lot of people were talking yesterday, Doug, today, a bunch of people, that they're not going to give the nomination to Biden. It's going to go to Michelle. It's going to go to Newsom. Why would Michelle Obama, Gavin Newsom, or any other Democrat want to take center stage at a Democrat national convention that is going to be the biggest disaster of political conventions since 1968 Chicago, and probably worse? At least the perception will be worse because everyone has cameras now. Back in 68, they didn't. Who would want to do that? Who wants to go and be protested, spit on, cussed at, and be held responsible for the disaster at the convention? Because whoever gets the nomination is going to be held responsible for the disaster of the Democrat convention with all these Muslim protesters. No one wants that. Biden doesn't care. He spent his whole life in Congress. They always have low opinion numbers in Congress. He doesn't care. And he's so arrogant and greedy, but mostly arrogant. So all these things, Michelle, Gavin, this person, that person, no one wants to be front and center at that convention and be responsible for the mass protests that are going to take place. It's going to be a disaster. The other thing is this: unseating the sitting president and vice president. Now, people have been skipped over. Johnson in 68 didn't get the nomination, but he didn't seek it out. He wasn't running. He announced he was not going to run. He wouldn't even accept the nomination. So that doesn't count. Passing over the sitting president who's already running and the sitting vice president who's already running would cause divisions inside the Democrat Party that even in a good year would be difficult to overcome for a nominee that they plugged in, if not impossible. Now we've got the rally of 100,000 in New Jersey. Who wants to take that over? Gavin Newsom and Michelle Obama are always the ones that everyone talks about. These two have a history of winning. Michelle's never run, but she's part of the Obama regime. She doesn't want to go out as a loser. Look what happens to first ladies who were losers. The Clintons were two-time winners, and then Hillary couldn't give it up. She kept running for president and kept losing. Now she's a punchline. She's a joke. And believe me, Michelle Obama is very well aware of that. She doesn't want that to happen to her. So for Michelle Obama to come in for the nomination, one, she'd have to deal with the massive Palestinian terrorist-supporting protesters at the convention, and then she'd have to risk losing to Trump, which she would lose. She's not going to do that. Gavin Newsom, why would he take this? Why would he take this? He's young for a guy running for president. He's still the governor of California. He could see a path in 2028 for himself to go up against DeSantis or something. Why would Gavin Newsom, who has an entire lifetime of winning, take such a disastrous convention and a losing candidacy when in 2028 he could come back and get the nomination and have at least a chance? Right? Because Trump only has one term left. So this idea that people are floating around that they're not going to give Biden the nomination. I don't see that. I don't see that. I don't know why everyone's talking that way, because it's really not logical. I mean, it's so bad. Let me play this before the break. This is CNN yesterday going over the latest polls. I'm not sure why I'm not hearing that. There we go.
Times. What is it telling you?
Yeah, I think it's essentially saying that we have a divide between the Sun Belt and Great Lake battleground states, all right? You know, these are all 6 states that Joe Biden won last time around. They won it by the closest margin of any of the states he won. Look, these Sun Belt battleground states, frankly, for the Joe Biden campaign, these numbers are an absolute disaster.
Yeah, right now, the Sun Belt is Nevada, Georgia, and Arizona. Nevada, Trump is leading Biden by 13 points. In Georgia, Trump is leading Biden by 9. In Arizona, Trump's leading Biden by 6.
The smallest lead is in Arizona for Donald Trump. He's up 6. Look at this, 9 in Georgia, 13 in Nevada. My goodness gracious, my God. That is a huge lead. No Democrat has lost.
Doesn't this guy on CNN sound like Jasmine? A little bit. A sober Jasmine.
State since John Kerry lost it back in 2004. How about these Great Lake battleground states? This is something that the Joe Biden campaign can work with. Look, Pennsylvania, Donald Trump up 3, but that's well within the margin of error. Wisconsin, Donald Trump up 1, well within the margin of error. And actually, a Joe Biden lead well within the margin of error, up a point here. This they can work with the Joe Biden campaign. This, the Donald Trump campaign, absolutely loves, and it looks like a lot of the other polling on the
Okay,
side.
now, yeah, so the polls are a disaster they're talking about on CNN, and here's the thing. Trump does not have to win all the battleground states. Biden does, but Trump doesn't. Trump wins 1, maybe 2, he's got it. Biden has to win all of them.
When you're looking into the numbers, why do you think Biden is doing better in the Great Lakes and Trump is doing so much better in the Sun Belt?
Yeah, the Trump coalition is changing. That's basically what's cooking here. This is at least one of the big reasons why. So this is among likely voters in all these battleground states we just spoke about. Back in 2020, 84% of the Trump campaigns of the Trump coalition was white. Look where it is now. It's 78%. The non-white portion of the Trump coalition, it was 13% in 2020. Look at this now. It's 19%.
Wow. So we've got this big gain. And by the way, these are polls being presented on CNN through the New York Times. So the numbers are much more in Trump's favor than they're actually reflecting. But New York Times hates Trump, CNN hates Trump, and even the New York Times that hates Trump and CNN that hates Trump has Trump winning pretty much everywhere, and a major gain with non-white people, which is a group that Democrats take for granted.
So the Trump coalition is becoming more diverse. Of course, those Sun Belt battleground states are more diverse than the Great Lake battleground states.
You're looking at the Nevadas and the Arizonas here.
Of course, if you look at Nevada, Arizona, heavy Hispanic population, Georgia, heavily African-American population, with Michigan does have some black voters in it, but Pennsylvania and Wisconsin are heavily.
Okay. So, this thing about polls, if you've been listening to me for a long time, during elections, I don't put a lot into polls, okay? A lot of people talk about the polls nonstop. I don't, very rarely. Most of the people that talk about polls all the time, it's almost like a filler. But what I follow with the polls are not the actual numbers, but the trend with the polls, okay? And the trend is still, the trend is your friend, is the saying. The trend is all in Trump's favor. And when you have liberal media outlets like the New York Times and CNN promoting that, that's huge. And since these are liberal polls, you got to add like 10 points in Trump's favor to those polls. All right, we're going to take our last break of the first hour and be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Sloman's is doing it again for true oldies listeners. Call 833-283-5050 and Sloman's will give you a free home security system.
All right, I get it, Mr. DJ. We've heard you say it a million times on this radio station. We get it. Sloman's is the best.
Welcome to the new subs. Now we are 75 subscribers away from 75,000. 75 away from 75,000. So if you're not sub, please subscribe. And everyone who's already sub, check and make sure that you are. Sometimes people think they're subscribed and they're not because you watch me a lot, and my videos get recommended to you in your feed. So go and check because we're so close to 75,000. I never thought I'd get this far. I mean, this is amazing. I really do appreciate it, guys. That's absolutely amazing. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Hello? Hello? Yeah, hold on. Huh.
Are you exhausted after work with no energy left in the tank to give your family? Are you having a midday crash on a daily basis? Women, are menopause symptoms like hot flashes, anxiety, and depression making your daily life feel far more difficult than it should? Men, do you feel like you're aging far beyond what you should? Is your sexual life and relationship suffering because of disappointments in the bedroom? Then take action and let our medical team at Lighthouse Medical Center help you stop the symptoms that are holding you back. We use all natural hormone optimization therapies with precision technology to help solve your problematic symptoms. Our family-owned practice has had the honor of serving our South Florida community for over 71 years. Call us right now and let our medical team get you optimized and feeling the way that you should. Life is too short to be running at less than 100%. You and your family deserve the best version of you. Call us at 754-222-6642 or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule
Coming back.
a consultation today. Take on the social justice warrior for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We're talking about this great clearing of President Trump by Micheal Cohen on the witness stand for the prosecution yesterday. But before we go back to the phones, I want to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas. You know, Jupiter Joe Thomas has, for over 30 years, been a retirement planning expert, right? He knows retirement. And no matter what your situation is in your retirement, no matter what your goals are, he's been there and he's seen it, okay? Call him. Talk to him about annuities. He's offering free phone consultations, if you mention you heard him here on the program, and you can take advantage of the free phone consultations no matter where you are located in the United States. He's also offering free copies of his book, The Retirement Know-It-All. You know, with annuities, your money is not at risk. All that money you've worked hard for is safe. You won't lose your money like you can do in the stock market. And you can generate income when you're retired. Give him a call, set up that free phone consultation, or just send for the free book. 561, you can also do both, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. All right? Give him a call, jupiterjoe.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. This is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
I'm not clinically depressed. I'm actually elated here.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me you're not drunk and transgendered like the previous caller.
That reminded me of calls we used to get like 20 years ago. Let me, on a regular basis, let me say this. The Biden administration is in such disarray. Yesterday, Jake Sullivan said there's no genocide going on. I watched.
Well, hold on now. Slow down on that. Slow down. Sullivan, he's White House spokesman, said there's no genocide going on in Gaza by the Israelis. That set these Palestinian terrorist supporters in a rage yesterday in this country. What do you mean there's no genocide? Of course the Jews are committing genocide. That was big.
And at the same time, Biden is bumbling through the fact that he's not going to give Israel the weapons. They're so divided. And I think you're right. I think there's nobody going to want to step in here because it's a real crap show here. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
CR, thanks for that gift.
First of all, Biden's not running the country. Whoever's running the country.
The country is not being run by a single person. It's being run by a group of people who have their own little kingdom. I mean, obviously there's, Obama and Joe Biden. There's a few people that are at the top of that, but there's not really a single person running this government or military or anything right now.
Yeah, they can't hide it anymore because Joe's getting worse.
But President Trump has always said, he doesn't say it anymore because it's not true, but he used to say what you want about the Democrats, they always stick together. The Democrats are divided in half a dozen different factions right now.
Yeah, and then you got the guy, I forgot his name now, Steinfeld. He gets up there at Duke, and he had for their graduation, and they turn their back and walk off before they get their diplomas because he's Jewish. I mean, people see this. People all over this country see this. They see what's going on in the colleges. They see what's going on the border. I don't even hear anything about Hunter Biden anymore. What happened with that? I mean, this is such a disaster. And Trump is you just have to compare his 4 years. There was no comparison before. They snowed a lot of people in the election.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't want to get into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's not going to happen this time. It can't happen this time. They know that it can't. They're in a panic. And they're turning on Joe, but they're really...
Well, this court, the court case, they had a lot riding on this court case. And the court case is not going anywhere near the way they thought it would. And this is another wrench in their machinery. I mean, it's a disaster.
Cohen went in front of Congress recently and lied again. He said he had there was no tape. Then he comes in the courtroom and says there's a tape. So he lied to Congress again. I mean, he's in trouble again. They have nobody. Absolutely nobody.
That's correct.
You're right. You look at 100,000 people that show up in New Jersey, and I apologize for that because the more I thought about it, it was a cold, windy day on the beach. I mean, they stood there for hours, and some of them pitched tents. I mean, and this is Jersey. They came from all over, and it's all Democratic area. I got to tell you, I mean, this is going to probably be worse than the Barry Goldwater deal. I mean,
oh yeah,
you can't put Biden back in. Look what's happening with our daily lives, and the Democrats have tried to hide this. Oh, by the way, Cohen also was Adam Schiff. He admitted that before the congressional committee.
Well, yeah, that he was involved in that prior to his testimony. He was involved in conversations with Adam Schiff about his testimony. I mean, I want you to think about this. When Micheal Cohen, his crimes, he was facing 70 years in prison. He got 3 and served 2. So, I mean, how do you go from 70 years to 3, only served 2, a year of house arrest? Because he made a deal with the establishment to say whatever they want him to say about Trump for the rest of his life. And that's what he's doing right now. And Eric Trump was the first to say this, but others said it too, that Micheal Cohen was shaking on the witness stand. The reason he was shaking is because he was lying to Trump's face, and it scared him and made him nervous.
Well, 135,000 to Stormy, I actually believe that he was having the affair.
Yes.
He paid out of his own bank account.
Correct.
I think Trump, I think he's such a liar, it's incredible. I mean, I've never seen anything quite like it. And they put all of it and brag. They're looking at the...
And keep in mind, Micheal Cohen is the star witness that the prosecution has, the star witness.
And they still haven't named the crime.
Mm-mm.
What law? There isn't any.
But the question, what I've been asking people since Friday, is does the prosecution know how weak their case is, or are they so sick on Trump derangement that they think they got him?
No, I believe that they know they lost this case. I mean, it's not. You have to be. Trump can't lose on this one because if they convict him, they say it's a kangaroo court, and he goes and they overturn it.
Yes.
And everyone's going to be behind him. And if he whips them, he's going to say, "Hey, look, I beat them, and they're a bunch of bums." The bottom line is they are. People see how disgusting what they've done to the court system, and then now they want, and the Democrats, by the way, they don't get their way. They want to pack the Supreme Court. It's a takeover by communists in this country. I've told you this on the radio before. There are communists that are running this. Bernie Sanders. I mean, how can you even follow this guy? He's such a
commie. He's got 5 houses and he's worth millions of dollars. What kind of communist is he? Pretends he plays one on TV, but I wouldn't say he's really a communist.
He never worked a job. I believe he was on a kibbutz.
Bernie's. This is true about Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders' first regular job was when he was 35, when he was elected mayor of that city in Vermont. That's not a joke. His first, yes.
They're all dirtbags.
But you know what? A lot of people, a lot of Democrats, like Liberal Al, they aspire to be Bernie Sanders. Hey, look, I got to run, Richie. It's good to hear from you. All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Oh, there you go. That's it. Oh, now I want to just a little bit of self-promotion here. If you don't follow me on YouTube, please do. Brian Craig Show on YouTube. I'm like 70 or 80 followers away from 75,000. And it's very difficult on YouTube to grow when you're like a white guy in a guitar and a MAGA hat. So if you don't already follow me on YouTube, go to YouTube, Brian Craig Show on YouTube, and subscribe to my channel. It's free to do. It says subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. It's free to do. Subscribe to my channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. And, if you do that, I do a lot of shows other than this. Just yesterday afternoon, I did a live show from my studio at home. I have a really nice studio at home that my daughter built for me, actually. My daughter set the whole thing up. And I take live calls like I do here. I upload my podcast there, and I do a lot of other things on my YouTube channel as well. So Brian Craig Show on YouTube, just like 70 or 80 followers away from 75,000, which is a big number, almost to the 100K. All right, our number, 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you're calling from. If you're on hold, stand by. I don't have time to get into a call before the top of the hour, so we'll go back to the phones after the break. Those of you have been asking about our next cruise. Our next cruise is in the end of March on the Celebrity Ascent. It's a 7-day cruise on their newest ship. The destinations I don't remember offhand, but we're leaving the last week of March. I'm going to give you the number to Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot if you'd like to join us. Remember, we sold out last time. And we have people booked on the next cruise that couldn't make it on the past cruise. And this ship is filling up. Give Ian a call at Cruise and Travel Depot. You could just put a small deposit and lock your spot in. You also get a lower price if you book early. And get set up on the cruise. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. That's 561-244-5779 for our 6th listener cruise. All right, we'll take our break for the top and be right back.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by...
By the way, all of you that just subscribed, thank you so much. Evil Genius, you'll be on the cruise? Cool. Awesome. Now we're 68 away from 75,000. Did some of you check and weren't subscribed that thought you might have been? Or did you just subscribe for the first time? We'll be back shortly.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out to the newly renovated poker room at PBKC. It's open daily for cash games, high-end giveaways, mega bad beat jackpots, and big money tournaments. You can also play
My throat's so dry.
or 3-card poker with just a
That's for sure.
Also, why did prosecutors go out of their way to point out that Ben Roethlisberger, the former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, had been at the golf event with Donald Trump at the time of the Trump-Stormy Daniels alleged sexual encounter? Now we know. Contrary to Trump's denials that he had sex with Stormy Daniels, Micheal Cohen now we
Well, thank you, Jenny. I appreciate it. Well, the crews have accordions. I don't know what you mean by that. You mean like the musical instrument? All right, hour number 2 has begun. If you've just tuned in, you've missed a lot. But just to sum it up in a sentence or two, Micheal Cohen cleared Trump yesterday in the New York trial. Beautiful day, beautiful trial. The prosecution has cleared President Trump yet again. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning. This is Chris from Boca.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, listen, I was wondering if you heard about the judge here in Florida. The documents were released there, and she found out that President Biden signed off on that raid to Mar-a-Lago. Also, Jack Smith, the lawyer, apologized for lying to the court.
Well, yeah, let's slow down on both. Let's slow down on these. Yes. On Friday afternoon, Judge Cannon, she's the Trump-appointed judge in Fort Pierce in the documents case of Jack Smith's. Okay, and a lot of things came out. We now know, and a document was released, that Joe Biden personally signed a document authorizing the FBI to break into Mar-a-Lago. And that's massive. And I was talking about this yesterday and over the weekend. Remember, Nixon was forced out of office not for the Watergate break-in. He didn't have knowledge of it. He was involved in a cover-up after to try to send the CIA guys off on vacation somewhere so they would be away from the press. This president, Joe Biden, actually took part in the break-in this time around. And that story is, the media have covered up that story since it came out on Friday.
But we won't let it be covered, right? We'll follow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How about Jack Smith apologizing to the judge for lying?
What did he lie? What did he lie about on this one? I'd forgotten. And
it was something about the papers that were laying down on.
Oh yeah. This was the one. That's correct. This was the one with the photograph of those documents on the floor were not classified documents. They were not classified documents, yet they were entered into evidence as if they were. So Jack Smith had staged with the FBI. They staged a crime scene. With fake evidence to try to show that Donald Trump was so reckless with classified documents, he had them scattered all over his office. Those were not classified documents, even though they were presented to the court. And Jack Smith apologized. I wasn't aware that you could lie to federal judges and apologize and get a do-over. I thought that was a felony.
But by your own words, you said the Democrats will lie for anything.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, and you too. I appreciate the call from Boca. Yeah. So, it's so interesting. Rachel Maddow is insane. And what has driven her, she was not always insane, but she's been driven to insanity by President Trump. She was a useful idiot of the Uniparty and Deep State during their fake Russian dossier thing. Now, remember, the Russian dossier was completely fabricated, completely fake. I'm not going to tell you what it said right now. I've done it so many times. Should I? Let me tell you what the dossier said, okay? Because there are some people that don't know. The Russian dossier that Christopher Steele, gave to John McCain, and John McCain gave it to Comey. Can you imagine? Christopher Steele met a sitting United States senior senator in a park in Washington, D.C. I mean, John McCain, the McCain family are a big part of this whole plot. And Cindy McCain has been taking photographs with the Soros family over the last week. Have you seen those photographs? The son and Daddy Soros. But anyway, the Russian dossier said that when Donald Trump was in Moscow, he stayed in the same hotel room with the same bed that Obama slept in when he was in Moscow, that Donald Trump hired 2 Russian prostitutes to have sex with each other and urinate on the bed while he watched and pleasured himself watching them, and Putin has full 4K video with stereo sound of this and was using this video as blackmail of President Trump. I know, isn't that, it's so absurd. I apologize for having to be so graphic, but, you know, every once in a while I got to explain what the dossier says. And Rachel Maddow spent years on television backing that absurd dossier, right? And then when it was exposed to be fake, she cracked up. She had a breakdown. She went on vacation, and now she doesn't even do her own show full time. She can't do it. She was so humiliated to her viewers, and she probably felt used and abused by the powers that be. She just had a breakdown, probably a complete nervous breakdown. And with this trial, she feels a little bit of an opportunity to try to get credibility back. Well, as always, she's on the wrong side. Micheal Cohen's testimony yesterday was a joke. Totally clear Trump. But Rachel Maddow, she saw it different. Listen to this. This is Rachel Maddow and her analysis of Cohen's testimony yesterday.
Now we know. Contrary to Trump's denials that he had sex with Stormy Daniels, Micheal Cohen testified today.
Wow. Micheal Cohen testified that Trump had sex with Stormy Daniels. And that's good enough for Rachel Maddow. To her, that means it actually happened because he testified to it. This guy that was facing 70 years for lying to everybody.
That he had sex with Stormy Daniels. Micheal Cohen testified today that when he asked Donald Trump if anything had happened between him and Stormy Daniels, Trump bragged to Micheal Cohen that, yeah, even though he was there at this golf event with Big Ben Roethlisberger, the women there, like Stormy Daniels, they wanted him more than they wanted Big Ben.
Okay, so she's talking about a football player who was there. First, the whole story is absurd. But why would a sex worker want Trump more than an NFL retired player or an NFL player? Well, first off, Trump's a billionaire 10 times over and had the #1 show on television. But I love how she says, we now know that Trump had sex with Stormy Daniels because Micheal Cohen testified to that. I'm going to play this for you. This is a montage. You'll hear a laugh track in the background. I wish the laugh track wasn't there, but it is. Someone put together a montage of Micheal Cohen testifying to Congress. Listen to this.
I've been convicted on 5 counts of tax evasion. There's 1 count of misrepresentation of documents to a bank. There's 2 counts, one dealing with campaign finance for Karen McDougal, 1 count of campaign finance violation for Stormy Daniels, as well as lying to Congress.
Combined total of the crimes for which you were sentenced would bring a maximum of 70 years, yes or no?
Yes.
Yet you are going to prison for 3 years, yes or no?
Yes.
Or expect to go back and ask for any sort of reduction in sentence?
Yes. The way the Rule 35 motion works is what you're supposed to do is provide them with information that leads to ongoing investigations. I am in constant contact with the Southern District of New York regarding ongoing investigations.
District of New York, in their statement, their sentencing memo says this: Cohen's criminal violations in the federal election laws were also stirred, like others' crimes, by his own ambition and greed. Cohen privately told friends, colleagues, and including seized text messages that he expected to be given a prominent role in the new administration. When that did not materialize, Cohen found a way to monetize his relationship and access with the president. So, were they lying or were you lying today?
I'm not saying it's a lie.
An individual deliberately and premeditatedly lied to this body. He lied to Congress through false statements and written statements. He lied to Congress through his testimony. He then amplified his false statements by releasing and repeating his lies to the public, including the other potential witnesses. Yet now, we on this committee and the American people are expected to believe Mr. Cohen's testimony. You stood before multiple congressional committees before today and raised your right hand and swore an oath to be honest. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And you lied to those congressional committees. Is that correct?
Previously?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
You stated that Trump never directed you to lie to Congress. Is that correct?
That's correct.
But he never directed you to lie to Congress.
He did not use those words, no.
Page 13, you claim, and I quote, Mr. Trump directed me to use my own personal funds from a home equity line of credit to avoid any money being tracked back to him that could negatively impact his campaign. Do you have any proof of this direction?
Just the payment, sir.
So no email?
Mr. Trump doesn't have email.
So no recording?
I do not have recordings, no.
No text message?
Mr. Trump doesn't text message.
So no direction other than your testimony today that that's what the payment was for? Nothing that you...
I mean, think about this. He's an admitted liar, sentenced to prison for lying. He says he has no evidence. You're just supposed to take his good word, but that's good enough for Rachel Maddow. Now we know. Micheal Cohen testified. You know, the thing about these Trump derangement sufferers, like Rachel Maddow, a lot of this with the media has always been with Trump ego. You know, the media used to, they no longer do, but they used to have lots of power in presenting narratives and false narratives and driving the public in favor of something or someone or a candidate, and they've lost all their juice. And a lot of people in the media, like Rachel Maddow, their egos are so wrapped up in them having the ability to push people into certain directions or behind certain people, and they've lost it. They've lost their influencer status, and they can't stand it. You know, there's a lot of people in media, in the new media, online, who call themselves influencers. I don't. I don't have the ability to influence you, but a lot of people think that they do. And when they lose, when the candidate they've been telling people are all these evil things that don't support them has 100,000 show up, they have breakdowns. And a lot of this has been Trump's problem since he won the first time, is the media trying to regain their ability to influence the public, which they're never going to regain. Their credibility with the public is forever destroyed. Now, CNN looks like they're trying to get some credibility back by giving some proper analysis. You know, when Fareed Zakaria said over the weekend that this case has, and the other cases too, but this trial in particular in New York has made Trump a martyr to his supporters and made him more popular, that's true. That's true. And the reporting that's starting to slip through CNN, that's actual reporting, is not by accident. CNN understands that opposing Trump is a losing proposition, and they plan on being around for a long time, unlike Rachel Maddow, who's had nervous breakdowns. And CNN is trying to regain credibility with their own audience by doing some real reporting on this case in New York. All right, we're going to take our first break of the second hour. It's 7:15. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Was it Rachel Maddow with that first soundbite?
Yes.
So I think one of the reasons why she was making a big like with not just Trump but Ben Roethlisberger,
Yep.
the football player he was with,
Yep.
was because Ben Roethlisberger had a rape allegation against him.
Oh.
So I think she was trying to.
I see.
Say something. So
Yeah.
It was a big controversy.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the league.
Yeah.
So I think
that's what she was talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, that makes sense.
Back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at
All right. 19 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. If you're in pain, that means you haven't gone to see Dr. Appleton. You know, his laser wave pain treatment works, people. It works. It's worked on me 5 times. I've met many listeners since I've experienced the great success of being rid of pain by Dr. Appleton who have had the same experience. His laser wave pain treatment is completely painless. There's no surgery, no downtime, no injections. Means no needles, no shots, okay, and no downtime. It works on so many different types of pain: acute pain, chronic pain, herniated disc, rotary tears, plantar fasciitis, fibromyalgia, spinal stenosis, sciatica, tinnitus, knee pain like I had, neck and back injuries, post-surgical swelling, repetitive motion injuries, strains and sprains, arthritis, bursitis, work injuries, sports injuries, and that's an incomplete list. I mean, it goes on and on. Let's just suffice it to say that the laser wave pain treatment works. Stop being in pain. You know, the reason that when Dr. Appleton has rid me of pain and it hasn't returned is because the laser treatment with Dr. Appleton repairs the damage that's causing the pain. Remember, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. Dr. Appleton's number is 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. Give them a call and say bye-bye to your pain. And I was just reading this article. It says here, more than half, this is in Breitbart, more than half of the foreign-born immigrant population in the United States is unemployed. And they don't give a breakdown as to how many of them are illegal. You know, when you are, any of you know any Americans that have wanted to move overseas, or maybe you have? Do you know what kind of hoops you have to go through? You know, before you move to another country, you have to, as an American, first world people, before you move to another country, because a lot of people get it in their head that they're going to retire here or retire there because their money goes farther. You have to prove to the government that you have X amount of income each and every month coming in, so that you will not become a drain on their system. Only in this country do we let people come here without any of this. And and when they say half of the foreign-born population, I'd like to know what percentage of them are illegal. Why should they work? Why should they? Biden has a retirement plan for them, which, by the way, Trump will revoke in January. The EBT cards that they charge up every month, the credit cards that they recharge every month, the Section 8 housing they give, the free education, they give them food, everything. Give them cell phones. Why should they work? Of course they're unemployed. But this is the only country where you can come here without a job and being set up. You know, when I was younger, starting in radio, I've mentioned this before, but not for a while. I had a job offer at a radio station in London, not to be on the air, but to work behind the scenes, production and stuff. And it was a pretty good job. And I couldn't take it because of the immigration rules. And I wanted to take that job. I was working at a radio station, but it was a pretty good job at a major radio station in London. London, England. Pretty big deal. And I remember they had to, before they could hire, and I don't know what the rules are now, but then before they could bring someone in from another country, they had to advertise the job for, I can't remember if it was 1 year or 2 years. It's been a long time. They had to advertise the job for 1 year or 2 years and be unable to find a qualified applicant. Then they could seek applicants from outside of the country. Now, it worked out better for me. I mean, I would have taken that job if it wasn't for the immigration practice. I'd probably have an English accent, and who knows by now, and who knows what I'd be doing. I wouldn't be here. But so it worked out better, right? And I was very young then. I didn't have family or anything at the time. Wasn't married. But at the time, I remember I was so ticked off. I was really ticked off. And not only was it a great job, the person that was offering it to me was a big deal at the time in radio over there. You know, it was pretty. And I was so ticked off. Now looking back, I understand when I see what's going on in this country. You know, you just can't bring people in to take jobs or welfare from people in your own country. I guess they were UK first, England first, Britain first, whatever it is. And that's not a bad thing. It's only in this country. Now, it's this way for many reasons, okay? You know, it's not just replacement. A lot of communities that, even though they're not supposed to be, even here in Florida still, are sanctuary cities, unofficially. You know, Biden has been, and they've been they have mathematicians that help them with this. There's been a lot of reports that they're trying to shift congressional districts before the next census, okay? And they want to count illegals in the census so far as congressional delegations. And that also, you know, the Electoral College, each state has the same number of Electoral College votes as they do representation in the House. Okay, so it affects a lot. And a huge chunk, one of the places they've moved the most illegals to are right here in Florida, under DeSantis' nose. And if you remember in Trump's first term, they were trying to get citizenship put on the census, and it failed because of the establishment. See, a lot of these cities, like here in Florida, Orlando is a long-time sanctuary city. I know they're officially not. DeSantis stopped all that, but they still are. The reason a city like Orlando wants to be a sanctuary city is the city gets a lot of money. Just the school district on the kids in the public schools, and they get extra money for the illegal kids because they don't speak English, so they got to bring in specialized teachers and specialized programs. You know, and as far as this Section 8 housing, that's big money. I knew a guy who owns, we're not friends anymore, a liberal guy, and we had a bit of a falling out. He used to come on the show all the time. Not, you know, but he had a bunch of rental properties here in Broward County, and they were Section 8 rental properties. And he loved it, and he told me, he says, Section 8's the best, because every month the government deposits the rent in your bank account. You don't have to collect rent. He says the rent's less, but it's effortless. I don't have to go around and collect the rent. The government just automatically puts it there every month. There's so much money made in local, it's beyond the national level of things. These local communities love the illegals because there's such a huge financial benefit to it. And I'm sure there's many other things too, other than those two things. Those are just two things off the top of my head. It's big business in this country. Big business. More than just these NGOs, non-governmental organizations you always hear about. There's that's big business and big donors. But there's money at so many levels that you don't even understand. There really is. And that's just the way it is. We have a very corrupt government, corrupt at every single level. We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. There's more to share. Steve will be joining us. Our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening to us, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with the greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Impact weather today. We're in a marginal risk from West Palm to Vero Beach for some isolated severe storms this evening, and it's going to be 94 and humid. I'm WTBF 25 First Morning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Up to speed on your morning drive on the Turnpike at 95 north and south of Jupiter, Palm Beach, and West Palm. Construction in West Palm, Benoist Farms Road from Southern Boulevard to Belvedere Road. This traffic update is sponsored by Discover. As humans, we like having options. One option you might like is speaking with a real person when you call about your credit card with 24/7 live U.S.-based customer service from Discover. Everyone can talk to a real person anytime, day or night. Limitations apply. See terms at discover.com/credit card. That's traffic. I'm Dory Don.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. PBKC is your entertainment destination with poker, table games, off-track betting, paddock dining, and exciting events. Visit the Paddock Restaurant. It's the ultimate dining, sports, and event experience. And this Saturday, come out, watch, wager, and win on the Preakness Stakes. There is no better place to watch the action than in the Paddock Restaurant. For more information, go to ppkennelclub.com.
Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel old. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my anti-aging doctor, Dr. Mitch Matez, at the BioStation West LA, and hormone replacement pellet therapy. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is all natural. What it does is restore your hormones to where they were when you were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, you'll have more energy, you'll get your sex drive back. And women, hormone replacement pellet therapy completely stops, reverses all the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings gone, night sweats gone. I've met listeners before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Matez, and when I first meet him, we're like Joe Biden, and no one wants to be like him. And then I meet him again after they began hormone replacement pellet therapy, and they have their energy back just like Trump. They're standing up tall, and they feel years younger. Now, it's always a free consultation with Dr. Matez. You tell him you heard about him on the radio. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893.
Thank you, Cindy.
Chowderheads in Jupiter yet? If you're looking for the best seafood in town, you have to try Chowderheads. You'll love their authentic New England seafood, flown in fresh from Boston. Their award-winning lobster rolls, clear chowder, and fried oysters are absolutely delicious. Come taste it for yourself. You will want to keep coming back for more at Chowderheads, located in the Driftwood Plaza on South US Highway 1 in Jupiter. Now open 7 days a week. For reservations or to go, call 561-203-2900 or check out chowderheadsusa.com.
Hi, this is Gabriel with Florida Cash Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house in South Florida and want to sell it fast for a great price, call me at 561-570-7070. I can pay cash and close in as little as 3 days or on your time frame. I can even pay you a cash advance before the closing. I'm a local cash buyer, and I'm looking to purchase more houses. I buy all types of properties in any condition, any price range, in any situation. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I will even buy foreclosures and haunted houses. Woo! Do you own a vacant house or one that is trashed and needs thousands in repairs? Great! I love buying fixer-uppers. Regardless of your situation, I understand that life happens, and I'm here to help you. If you own a home and want to sell it fast and easy, I'll buy it. Call me at 561-570-7070. That's 561-570-7070. 561-570-7070.
All right, we are back. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Steve joining us. Hey, Steve.
I'm joining you.
Yep. Well, I maybe you should have joined us a few seconds later so you could do the coughing before I put you on, but that's okay. It's live radio, people. You're with us, Steve.
Hey.
Cleaned out my ears. Oh, yeah, Micheal Cohen cleared Trump. Every witness has cleared Trump. There has not been a single witness that has done anything but clear Trump.
Watching the tube this morning as I was getting ready to come on the show, or at least half of me was ready to come on the show. The other half, which includes my voice, isn't quite here yet.
No.
But it will arrive in progress, no question.
Okay.
But there's a smile in everybody's voice this morning. It seems like we've passed a new milestone. I was listening to the talk shows last night, listening this morning.
What's the milestone?
You get a feeling that it's over. I mean, I know you go out of your way not to be overly optimistic.
Well, when you say it's over, what's over?
I mean, Biden. I mean, it was like a complete...
Well, he's still running the country till January.
I know that.
And it's only May, so we got a long time of destruction that he can, you know.
It is illusory, I don't know, but it sure feels good.
Well, yeah, but we still got a lot of suffering to go through.
Yes, well, that's life, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, let me go out the number. Our number is toll free 1-888-465-2631. You know, Micheal Cohen yesterday, even CNN and MSNBC are describing the testimony as devastating for the prosecution. Their own witness, yet again, now they got all their hopes in Karen McDougal, who is just as bad as Stormy Daniels. I'm here to tell you guys. All right, let's take some calls. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Cassandra. Good morning, everybody.
Anyway. How are you?
Okay, great. Nice to hear from you. Okay, I'm thinking this judge in New York must be saying to himself, man, this case really is garbage. But I can't lose because I'm keeping Trump here, and if we have
Really? No, I don't know about that. Yesterday, if the judge's daughter didn't take the $10 million, he'd probably have declared a mistrial already, but he can't. He's not allowed. They took the money. Yesterday, Donald Trump had J.D. Vance, Tuberville, and two state's attorney generals, a lady, I forgot where she's from, and another attorney general from, I think it was Alabama. And the hottest ticket in New York City since Studio 54 are Republicans going with Trump to trial. Today, Vivek Ramaswamy is going to go with him and some others. Here's the thing. I don't think the judge feels safe. I think the judge is very concerned that he's going to be facing disbarment or maybe even criminal prosecution in the next administration. You know, now that you see these Republicans, senior Republicans like J.D. Vance and others, going with, last week on Friday, it was our Senator, Tim Scott, right? Or, I'm sorry, Rick Scott. We got the white Scott, they got Rick Scott. He used to be our governor. He was governor before DeSantis. Rick Scott went with him on Friday, J.D. Vance and Tuberville yesterday. And all these senior Republicans are having press conferences calling out everything that's wrong with this. So, yeah, and I promise you the judge watches all that, and he's very concerned about a criminal prosecution at the federal level for this corruption. When they start to do a forensic analysis of his family and see what kind of cars and houses they drive and live in now as opposed to before this and where the $10 million went, believe me, they're worried.
Yeah, I'm thinking as a Democrat, he figures, well, I'm a Democrat. And
no, his last name is not, no. The ones, if you have one of those famous last names that have been around for a long time, you got nothing to worry about, like Biden, but if your name is, what's the judge's first name? Do you know, Doug? Exactly. And no one even really knows how to pronounce his last name, Mercan, right? When you're not famous or one of these legacy families, you're in trouble. Look at the judge in the property case. That creepy judge in Letitia James' case is under investigation for his behavior in that trial. Believe me, the judge is not happy, but the daughter took the $10 million.
They took the $10 million, and if you're right, there's going to be some hell to pay. Trump is not going to let this go. Trump is, I'm sure, is going to go after them. And
You can bet your
And he has to. It's not revenge. We cannot allow this to be the new norm in this country.
Thank you.
Oh, all right. I was in the middle of a sentence, but that's okay. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling? I know you. I'm glad you think it's funny, Steve. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Ben from Pamela.
Hey, Ben. Hurry up. Steve's bumping the callers off quick.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, so I agree with you. I think it was very important that Republicans are finally starting to be more vocal in public and make a much larger display for their support for Trump and actually bringing more of a circus to it. I think it's...
Well, yeah, and I want to talk about this, okay? Rick Scott may not be the most famous senator, okay? We have him and Marco, right? But he's the senator that is in charge of the Senate election financing. The Senate has their own version of the RNC at the Senate. And Rick Scott is in charge of who gets the money to run for re-election and such. And he was with Trump on Friday. J.D. Vance yesterday, remember, you got to win Ohio to win the presidency if you're a Republican. I mean, this is a big change, and he's not being accompanied just by his friends and family. He's being accompanied by senior, powerful Republicans.
Oh, and I appreciate the shift because, it was Trump all up there standing alone on an island for himself for a week now. And now what we're starting to do is we're starting to turn the narrative around and turn the tables back on them, where now the media spectacle is being pointed to these regime actors who are now going to have to play defense and answer for themselves. So I thought it was like a real powerful move and a great point you brought up. And with Vivek, and he's got a lot of cachet on social media and things like that, that's going to be another power punch. But I also feel like sometimes we might be getting a little too complacent and doing victory laps because we know it's a sham. We know it's ridiculous. We know Micheal Cohen.
No. There's been you're wrong. No. Hold on. There's these senior Republicans that are all of a sudden going to court every day, right, with Trump, and they're rotating they're making a statement. These are politicians. They see the writing on the wall. So, politicians by nature are cowardly. The fact that these politicians are going to court, and yesterday it was very interesting to hear Tuberville in particular talk about how trashy the courthouse is, and J.D. Vance too. And they went from Trump Tower to the courthouse, and they were talking about the state of disrepair that the courtroom itself is in. It's because they're talking.
You're thinking they're emboldened now because they see that this is just like a spiraling plane.
Yeah, that's correct.
And if you really want to see it reinforced, if you need more evidence, just tune into liberal talk.
I know. I hear you, but
when I look at beautiful to watch.
When I look at Eugene Carroll and the fact that it's still, in New York, and these people just don't care about right or wrong. I agree with you, but what they're not going. I don't see a world in which Mercon and people like LeeZep James and Alvin Bragg back down. I think you're right. I think there's going to have to be a shift that happens.
They see it. Believe me, there's going to be a lot of
Thanks, Cindy.
Kids. Yeah. The writing on the wall.
Yeah, you look at listen, I've been following this. Look at who they have. This scary-looking prosecutor lady. When I mean scary, I mean she's just really ugly. That's doing the questioning for the prosecution. She's a Biden donor. Their numbers are small. The people there are not that many people that are willing to put their neck out against Trump right now. Even more so. I was talking about in the first hour, this idea that Biden's not going to get the nomination. That's so untrue right now. This is a losing candidacy. Trump had 100,000 on Saturday. He's winning this case. They're going to have a disaster of a protest with the Muslim world showing up at the convention in Chicago. The Democrats are going to Michelle Obama, Gavin Newsom, no credible Democrat is going to want to take on becoming the nominee and being the center for the protest and go up and have a losing campaign against this populist Donald Trump. They don't want to go. Gavin sees 2028 as a possibility. They're not going to. It's going to be Biden.
Right, but an animal at bay. I mean, you're right, and I don't want to be too much of a Debbie Downer, but when Democrats, when I just put two and two together, they're willing to do anything, and when they're desperate, I'm sure they'll push that nuclear button and do.
Right now, it's Hitler in the bunker with these never Trump or Trump derangement syndrome people, and they're all leaving. Nobody wants to be around this. You know, we're talking about these high-profile Republicans. Where are the high-profile Democrats attacking Trump on this trial now? I don't see them.
Yeah. All right. Well, it unfolding.
All right. Take care. Good to hear from you. Thanks so much. Now, I want to ask you a question. Do you or someone you know or love have neuropathy? If you have neuropathy or know someone who does, you know it's living torture. It really, truly is. You know, the symptoms of neuropathy are pretty intense. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in the hands and feet, muscle weakness, dizziness, the feeling of pins and needles in the hands and feet. Some have no sensation of all. Many people have all of these symptoms simultaneously. Oh, yeah, you can fall down and kill yourself, you know. Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Do you know they have been in practice with the same family for 75 years in Pompano? And I believe they're the oldest medical practice in Broward County. I don't know if that's official, but they are. In fact, the office should be declared a historical landmark in Broward County. The family are founders of Broward, founders of Pompano. But this is the same family of healthcare professionals have been with Lighthouse Medical Center. They founded it 75. I think we're going on 76 now, Steve. We might have hit the 76-year mark. This isn't a medical practice that's been sold 20 times and they kept the name. Same family. And the same family of healthcare providers does not stay in business in the same community for 75 years unless they've got a good word of mouth in the community, right? And their neuropathy treatment works. It works. And if you can't make it into the office, whether you're local or even out of town or out of state, they can still help you. I'm going to give you the number. When you call Lighthouse Medical, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show, because then they give you a no-charge free consultation, okay? Yeah. The number is 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Ryan. I just want to say thank you for Dr. Appleton, because I'm from Orlando. It took 3 hours to go down there. I took my 90-year-old mom. My mom walked straighter than she ever walked in her life. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being such a willing vessel to talk about Dr. Appleton.
That's amazing. So you heard me in Orlando talking about Dr. Appleton and drove to South Florida with your mother to see him.
Yes, my mom is awesome now. Awesome. No more arthritis, no more pills, none of that. She's going back to New York. She sits on a train for 24 hours. And I'm telling you, no pain. She gets off that train, and my sister says she walks like a young woman.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Call Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain, too. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonCairo.com.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Brian Craig here with a question for seniors and those who care about them. How would you like to have instant access to a healthcare advocate at the touch of a button? Would that make life easier for you? You can with I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will help you set up doctor's appointments, help with your pharmacy, even deal with your pharmacist to make sure that you have your prescriptions. They'll help you find a doctor, including a specialist. If you've been billed improperly by a doctor's office or a hospital, they can help you with that too. They'll even be your advocate when you're in the hospital to make sure you get the care you need and the care you deserve. And that's just the beginning of what they do. I Will Advocates takes care of all Steve Kane's healthcare issues too, and they can do the same for you. I Will Advocate clients are family, and they go to bat for their family when you need them the most. Call Debbie at I Will Advocates right now. Toll free 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326. Brian Craig here. When it comes time to get my blood work done, I don't have time to spend hours in the doctor's office or waiting hours at one of those big labs. That's why I do any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs for all of my lab work. Their techs are highly skilled and professional, and their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest on lab work you'll find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary. Doctor's orders and prescriptions, they're not needed either. I'm in and out in 15 minutes or less. I get the results the next day in my email box, and they also send it to my doctor. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Call Any Lab Test Now of Boca at 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now at Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, we are back. Coming up on 10 minutes before 8, I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. You know, Blinken, who's the most effeminate Secretary of State in American history. I mean, Madeleine Albright was more masculine than this guy. Remember Madeleine Albright? Is she still alive, Madeleine Albright? I don't know. But he went to, she was the first female Secretary of State, in case you want. No, actually, Condoleezza Rice was the, no, Madeleine Albright was the first female. Oh, well. Condoleezza Rice was the first black female. They always got we got check marks too, I guess. But anyway, it used to be long ago, Secretaries of State were scary people that were take charge kind of guys, and they would go around the world and tell people like it is. And now you got this guy, Blinken, he just goes around and gives away money. Of course, I'm sure for a commission for him and Joe, but Blinken is in Ukraine to let him know that the $60 billion is on its way. I don't know why he had to go all the way there to do it, to tell him that. But Zelensky told Blinken that they're worried that the United States is distracted by Gaza. You know, and, you know, we don't talk too much about Ukraine because you and I argue about it a lot, you know, but in October, when that brutal attack happened, we've seen a lot of photographs and video out of Israel and in Gaza showing intense battles in the aftermath of it. We see really nothing out of Ukraine. Remember when we invaded Afghanistan, we had embedded journalists, and I really think, I'm not saying there's not a war going on with Russia and Ukraine, but I think they're pretty much in a stalemate and not much is happening. Because since the Muslim terrorist attacked Israel, Ukraine's been very worried that they're not going to get all the money now, that Israel is going to get the money and things like this. And if there was a lot of bloody fighting going on and things were as grave as Zelensky keeps saying while he has his hand out, I think they would be showing us the battlefield up front, don't you, Steve? Where? I don't see it. That might be file footage. I'm talking about sending reporters live from the front lines showing fighting with the Russians. I haven't seen anything like that. I don't know what you're watching, but when I want to know what's going on in Ukraine, I always go to the same place. I don't go to Newsmax. I don't go to Fox. I don't go to CNN. I go to Pavlo from Ukraine, and Pavlo is a 20-something-year-old YouTuber. He lives in Ukraine, and he's of military age, yet he's not in the military. And he hangs out on the farm renovating houses with his girlfriend who, there's one shortage in Ukraine, apparently bras, because she doesn't wear bras. And, yeah, I know. And they bounce around, yes, the two of them, and those two, the countryside of Ukraine, renovating houses and making videos on how to repair doors and such, and all of this. I don't see any wars. I don't see any Russian rape gangs coming after Pavlo's Brawler's girlfriend.
Maybe you should expand your sources.
Well, this is an unfiltered source. This is,
But he's missing the footage where they show the civilian casualties that are going on in Ukraine.
if I saw a story last, and I'll throw this out to you guys in the audience, because I know I've sent a lot of people to Pavlo from Ukraine. He's on the scene. He's there. There was a story last week that came out of Zelensky's government that things are so bad that they're letting prisoners fight now. Now it can't be just any prisoner. There's certain crimes, but if they're going to the Ukrainian prisons and they're taking prisoners and giving them guns and sending them to the front lines to get out of their prison sentence. So they're doing like the Dirty Dozen kind of thing. If things are that bad, why is a 25-year-old guy who's in perfectly good shape, why is he doing home renovations in Ukraine and not in the military? There's something.
He's perfected his evasive skills, as Mike.
He's all over YouTube. He makes videos all the time. Thousands of people watch them. And recently it was his braless girlfriend's birthday, so they drove across the country. They drove almost completely across Ukraine so he could take her to Kyiv. And I didn't see any battles along the way. I didn't see any enemy planes. I didn't see any Russian soldiers or tanks.
For my international news, I go to Newsmax and I go to...
Newsmax is very pro-war. That's the one criticism I'll give of them.
That's where I see that people are dying.
Well, this is the thing. The reason I check in with Pavlo from Ukraine is because... No. It's because it is an unfiltered look at what life is really like in Ukraine. And if you watch this guy, there's no war. There's no war. Now, sometimes he'll show, like when he was in Kiev, he showed some buildings that were crumbled, but that was like at the beginning of the war. The metal's all rusted and stuff. Nothing new. And I'm not saying there's no war going on. What I'm saying is there's very little action and it's a stalemate. And for them not to be able to get together and try to end it is insane at this point.
I'd be very interested in the audience's perception.
Yeah, and I know I have been talking about Pavlo from Ukraine since this war started, because I found him when the war started, because I was online, what's going on? And in the beginning of this war, which has been, 2 years now, however long, he was showing some stuff. But he hasn't shown, Steve, he did one resort where he and his girlfriend and some other bikini girl went to a beach resort in Ukraine. I didn't even know they had such things. They went to a beach resort, and there were kids there. They were playing. There were no worries. It's just something stinks here. Oh, okay. I don't know if you want. I want to give out the number, and I'd like to. It just really burns people when you see what's going on in this country and how much people are struggling. That basically the U.S. Mint appears to exist for two purposes: to make money for illegals and make money for Ukraine. There's no relief for anyone in this country. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with me, or not, that the war in Ukraine is pretty much over, very little fighting, very little combat, that it's a stalemate that's going on? I know part of Ukraine is occupied, but there's not much happening. Or Zelensky would be showing it to us because he's in competition with Israel right now for U.S. money. Our number is toll-free 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's toll-free call no matter where you're calling from. We'll go to the phones after the top of the hour break, but I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on that. Now, I just want to say a thing or two, though, about Micheal Cohen yesterday. Micheal Cohen all but said that Trump was not guilty. And what has come out in the courtroom, and I think that the case that's been made is, it's almost like Micheal Cohen's on trial. I mean, what's been exposed in this courtroom in the last couple of weeks, in particular last week and this week, is what I've suspected for a long time, that Micheal Cohen was embezzling money from Donald Trump. He would set up these things that he would fix and have to get money for. And the conversation that's been entered into the evidence between Micheal Cohen and Stormy Daniels' attorney was Stormy Daniels and her attorney wanted $100,000. Micheal Cohen gave her $135,000, right? The $35,000 is his commission. That's what he made off the deal. Micheal Cohen is what I suspect. And I don't understand why Turley and all of these analysts all over television don't see what I'm seeing. Micheal Cohen was embezzling money from Donald Trump through this fixer racket he had going on. And the recordings and everything that they entered into the court record yesterday, Donald Trump had no idea about the Stormy Daniels payoff, even according to Micheal Cohen's own evidence yesterday that was entered into by the prosecution. I don't know what these prosecutors were thinking, but Trump's won the case. All right. Let's take our break for the top of the hour. You're welcome to call in about any of the things we brought up so far. I've got some things we're going to touch on as well in the next hour that we haven't gotten to yet. Our number 1-888-465-2631. 1-888-465-2631. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Celebrating 47 years on the radio. The same year, we're going to elect the 47th president, Donald Trump. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, is here. We'll take our break for the top of the hour and be back with your calls. And I've got some audio I haven't played either I want to get into. We'll be back after this.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM,
Okay.
and Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Impact weather today. We're in a marginal risk from West Palm to Vero Beach with some isolated
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
95 northbound, stop and go delays from Forest Hill Boulevard past 45th Street. Southbound slow from 10th Avenue North to Boynton Beach Boulevard. Turnpike north and south delays past Lake Worth Road. This traffic update is sponsored by Fresh from Florida. Meal planning is work, so let Fresh from Florida help. Learn what's in season, browse hundreds of recipes, and get tips from Chef Justin by visiting freshfromflorida.com. Eat healthier with Fresh from Florida. There's sunshine in every bite. That's traffic. I'm Dory Don.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out to the newly renovated poker room at PBKC. It's open daily for cash games, high-hand giveaways, mega bad beat jackpots, and big money tournaments. You can also play your favorite table games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum, and that is 7 days a week. For more information or to see the tournament schedule or the bad beat jackpot, go to pbkennelclub.com.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find.
Back after this, guys.
Doctor's order or prescription is needed, and you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor can order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
On the air since 1977. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right. Welcome back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane here. Stormy Daniels, things didn't go well for her last week. So she leaked something out to try to get a little press coverage. Did you see this thing about Stormy Daniels, Steve? Oh, my goodness. So this is the thing, okay? Someone like Stormy Daniels, she's made over $1 million on this Trump thing. I promise you, she's burned through the money. All right, she's a stripper. You know, the money's gone. She's probably got some guys around her that help her spend it pretty well too. And oh yeah, oh my goodness, the poor kid. Yeah, I feel bad for her child. I mean, I just feel bad for her child, raised by a porn actress, stripper. So Stormy Daniels, the testimony didn't go well. No one wants to interview her. She can't get, she thought after her testimony she was going to go on the interview circuit again, like The View and everything, and Bill Maher, and her testimony was so poor, she was exposed as a liar, that nobody's interviewing her. So she's desperate to stay in it. So she released that she wore a bulletproof vest to court last week. Now, first off, I don't know, how does she get a bulletproof vest on over those ridiculous implants that she's got going on? And those vests, you can't get through the metal detector at courthouses with them, but it just shows how desperate she is to stay in the news. It's pretty pathetic. I mean, she'll do whatever she's got to do to stay in the news. And the testimony since last week and this week, the way they had this set up, and I don't know who they have other than McDougal left after Cohen, but their whole strategy was done with 3 beats. When you're presenting something, whether it's us here on the radio or a court case, there's a rhythm, there's a beat, and boom, boom, boom. And each one, you want to start with something good, then the next one's something better, and then you have the grand finale. And right now we're in the middle of the play, okay? And the first beat was Stormy Daniels, which fell flat. And then what did they say? After her testimony bombed, and she was exposed as lying big time, I mean, we did that last week, so I'm not going to go through it all. They said, don't worry about that. The star witness is Monday, Micheal Cohen. That totally fizzled out yesterday. Now, today, the defense is going to get their chance at Micheal Cohen. Eric Trump, a few others said this too, but Eric Trump said that the testimony of Micheal Cohen's yesterday was the most rehearsed testimony that he has ever seen. And it was reported by many people that were in the courtroom yesterday, 2 things about that. There were 3 things reported about Micheal Cohen. 1, incredibly well rehearsed. And he was not presenting it in a good, natural way. You could tell it was rehearsed. 2, he was shaking. Now, my initial thought was he was shaking because he was lying to Trump's face. And then I was reading during the break something that I'd forgotten about that was also reported. When he was being questioned by this Biden donor, the lady prosecutor that donated to Biden. I mean, they couldn't find a prosecutor that had not donated to Biden. That's how small their numbers are of people that are willing to do this garbage. Now, even though the testimony was rehearsed, they said when she asked questions yesterday, Micheal Cohen took a long pause before he answered every time. And that was thinking to make sure that he got his line right? Like this was rehearsed testimony. It was a scripted play, and he was. And I think he was shaking not because of Trump. I think he's afraid of these prosecutors. Maybe, I don't know, but he was taking a long time to answer because he was afraid that he would get the line wrong for the prosecutors. Remember, he was facing 70 years in prison. He got 3 and only served 2. But he was facing 70 years. And believe me, they can come back at him if they want. Forget about double jeopardy. This is the Biden regime. They don't care about the laws and the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and all that stuff. They're just making it up as they go along. So I'm starting to think now he was shaking, not because of Trump, but because he's afraid of the prosecutors coming back after him. I didn't realize he was facing 70 years and only got 3. So I imagine last night, they spent the whole night rehearsing some more for today to have a better presentation. And I expect in the beginning, when the prosecutors are talking to him, I'm not sure if they're starting with the prosecutors or the defense today. It's unclear to me. But the portion with the prosecutors will probably be better today than yesterday. The media will take that as a victory. And then it's going to be Trump's people's turn. And you got to understand, if you remember this, the lawfare, the attacks on Trump, Now, this is, I want you guys to think about this. Donald Trump, since he came down the escalator in 2015, think about this. This has been going on for 9 years with Trump. Can you imagine? 9 years ago, he came down the escalator. President Trump has had the entire force of the United States government after him for 9 years. I bet you they've spent over $1 billion on investigations on this guy, maybe $2 billion. And a lot of the investigations we don't even know about, right? There's all kinds of deep state investigations into him and everybody in his orbit that's ever communicated with him, trying to find something. And the thing with Micheal Cohen, if you remember it began with the break-in of his office by the government. Was it? I think it was Jack. Was it who broke into Micheal Cohen's office? It was the Mueller people, wasn't it? Was it during the Mueller investigation? I can't remember offhand. But I think it was the Mueller investigation. And if you remember with the Mueller investigation, the investigation had been going on for a long time. They'd spent tens of millions of dollars, and they had nothing. And they broke into Micheal Cohen's office searching for something on Trump. What do you think about this? They broke into the attorney, the personal attorney of the President of the United States, looking for something. They found nothing. They found nothing. This scummy lawyer, the fixer, they found nothing. And even Micheal Cohen, in that audio I played of his testimony to Congress, doesn't have one piece of evidence to show that Donald Trump had anything to do with any of these payoffs. Just his good word, right? Micheal Cohen's good word, who lied to Congress and everybody else. And, you know, when you have had, let's see here, how many Trump lawyers have been arrested? Micheal Cohen, the two lady lawyers. I mean, there's been 5 or 6. You guys think about how serious this is. This lawfare against Donald Trump has been going on so long, and there's so much of it. I think people are getting used to it. And Micheal Cohen's definitely a scummy guy. I've heard him described on CNN yesterday. They said there are Alan Dershowitz type lawyers, and then there are Better Call Saul type lawyers. And Micheal Cohen's a Better Call Saul type lawyer, right, from Breaking Bad. And that's true. I have never in my life ever seen an attorney for a defendant in any case be arrested, get a mugshot, and take it into court to testify against their client. The client-attorney privilege is sacred. It's like a confession to a priest. And there have been at least 4, 5, maybe 6 Trump attorneys. I mean, Giuliani, Trump attorney. Look, how many Trump attorneys have been arrested, been put in jail, been put in prison? You know, yesterday, Don Jr. went and visited Peter Navarro in prison in Miami. He wasn't a lawyer, Peter Navarro, for Trump, but come on. And this new thing that they're doing in the Uniparty of arresting people's attorneys, tossing a lawyer's office on a search for information against somebody they can't find. Believe me, we had the document that Judge Cannon in Fort Pierce released to the public on Friday that Joe Biden personally signed, not just said okay, signed a document authorizing the FBI to break into Mar-a-Lago. Think about that. You know, his leading political opponent, not just a president, but the leader of the political opposition. And that tells me, Steve, no one wanted to authorize it. Merrick Garland, Chris Wray, no one wanted to authorize the break-in of Mar-a-Lago. They were afraid to do it, so they got Biden to do it. And he did it, and he signed the document. And now they've arrested all, and even in Fulton County, they arrested at least 3 Trump lawyers. Got arrested, got mugshots in Fulton County. Never seen anything like this. Lawyers represent child molesters, murderers, and they know the clients are guilty. They know the clients are guilty. I've never seen a defense attorney arrested and put on a stand against their client. This is a whole new era we're in. And in a way, I almost feel bad for Micheal Cohen. They broke into his law office searching for dirt on Trump when they couldn't find anything in the Mueller investigation. And what Donald Trump has weathered, I know we all know about these things, but I don't think it's been nonstop for 9 years. I don't think people have had time to think about it. But it's been nonstop investigations where they have spent at least $1 billion investigating. If you remember, Steve, the Mueller investigation, they thought they were going to be able to get him on that, and the report came out and it cleared Trump. So then they brought Mueller to testify in front of Congress, and they thought, well, if they get him in front of Congress talking about it, then people will see that. And Bob Mueller cleared Trump. Every single thing they've done has cleared Trump every step of the way. Even, think about it, even breaking into their his lawyers' offices. Even Jenna Ellis was one. They busted into Giuliani's apartment in New York and took the hard drive and God knows what else. All of these are search missions trying to find dirt on Trump. And even in his personal attorney's offices, whether it's Jenna Ellis or Micheal Cohen or Rudy Giuliani, they still haven't found something as minor as jaywalking on Trump, which is really amazing. I mean, he's almost saintly. Because they used to, when all this first started, you would hear the pundits on Turley and Dershowitz and, Napolitano. They would all, those types of guys. They all said the same thing. Show me the man and I'll show you the crime. Remember that? Show me the man, I'll show you. 9 years of this, they haven't found anything on Trump. And a squeaky queen was that first caller I had in the first hour, but a squeaky clean. Exactly. I mean, when you have this level of investigation with the attorneys and everything they've done all these years, they're in all their phones, all the computers, everything, for 9 years, and this is the best they've got, is witness after witness, from the Inquirer guy to Micheal Cohen, have done. And Micheal Cohen was called the star witness. So Micheal Cohen's testimony was first beat was going to be Stormy Daniels, right? Micheal Cohen was going to come in and confirm her testimony and set the stage for McDougal. And McDougal's no good either. She's got nothing, okay? I've watched her full interviews. She's got vague generalities. For example, she said she had a 1.5-year affair. She has not released anything personal about Donald Trump, like what kind of underwear he wears. I was talking about this earlier. What kind of underwear? Boxers, briefs, silk, satin, cotton. What color were his underwear? Nothing that all she has is, well, this bodyguard was on duty. She got that from Micheal Cohen, right? She knows nothing personal or intimate about Donald Trump. Her testimony is going to fizzle too. And it's that for Donald Trump to go through all of this, all these years, and beat them all is nothing short of a miracle. It really is not. No other human could withstand this level of investigation with every arm that the government has at its fingertips, including NSA and all those kind of things, and they're not able to get anything on the guy. A guy who's in the construction business his whole life in one of the scummiest mob towns in the world, New York. That's right. Now, callers on hold, stand by. We'll take our break and be right back. All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. How goes it, Barry?
How are you doing?
We're great. What do you have for us this morning?
We do have 2 workshops coming up next week, a week from today, 10 a.m. Simultaneously, one in Boca Raton and one in Naples. And so, the reason we do these workshops, look, obviously, we're a law firm, we're a business. We want to attract new clients to our Siegel Law Group family that we can help make sure that they have an estate plan that works and protect their family and give them peace of mind. And our way of doing that is to do a couple of things. Number one, educate. Educate people so that they understand the value of a well-drafted estate plan and one that has service and maintenance that's going to make sure that it's going to work for them and their family when that time comes. And that time could either be incapacity or the time we pass, to make sure we have a plan that's going to work. So that's number one. We want to educate to motivate people to do what they need to do to take care of themselves and their family. And also, we want to break that cycle of procrastination. And one of the things that we do to offer people when they come into the workshop is, the workshop is very general. It's going to give information that applies to almost everybody, but everybody's situation is different. And that's why we do, as the next step, the free consultation that people can make at the workshop. And that way we can sit down and go over each family's personal situation, their family, their estate, their wishes, their goals, and all of those things. And in order to incentivize people to do that, they're going to get a discount certificate so that they can get a reduction in the fees. So by the time they're educated and they get the information they need and they understand what they have and the cost of inaction, and also get a bonus for taking action and stopping the cycle of procrastination, that's really what we try to do with these seminars. And we want to add people to the family, and we beg people to, we have about, I think we're up to 267 5-star Google reviews, and we want to add people to that, people who are going to be satisfied and happy and have an estate plan that works.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I've been to many, many of the Siegel Law Group workshops, and even though I've been to many, many over and over again, each time I get a lot of new valuable information that between all the times we've talked and the other workshops, I was like, wow, I didn't know that. I mean, there's so many different things. You get a lot of good information. But I'll tell you something else I think people get, Barry, from your workshops, because you're there with your entire team from the office, okay? And, when you're putting together all these final things for your family, it's important, right? This is your family you're taking care of. And you get to meet Attorney Barry Siegel and his entire staff at every level, from the assistants to the lawyers and everybody in between. And I think it's great for people to get to meet the team of people that they're putting the future of their family's hands in. And I think that just meeting everybody and getting to see what the staff is like and the detail and the care you put into these, I think that really sends a strong message to people that come to the workshop. So if you've never been to one of the workshops, call the Siegel Law Group. A week from today in Boca, which is, of course, the primary headquarters of the Siegel Law Group, and the Naples location. I prefer the Naples location, Barry, because the Gulf Coast is so nice. And you got to get those Naples ones on Friday so we can make them 3-day weekends, Barry. Yeah, exactly. We could do the workshop in the morning, finish at noon, and have margaritas on the Gulf Coast by 1. All right, the Siegel, give them a call. The workshops are free, but you do need to call ahead and let them know you're coming, and they'll give you directions and everything when you call. Here's the number: 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk later in the week. We'll be right back.
Back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, here Boca on 95.3.
All right, now, one last thing, Steve, and then if you're on hold, stand by. And this is the third beat. It was Stormy Daniels, Micheal Cohen, then Karen McDougal, the Playboy. The prosecutor said on Thursday last week that they did not intend to call McDougal now. So after Stormy Daniels' disastrous testimony, all of a sudden they said they don't intend. Now, when they say they don't intend, they can change. Things can change. But as of Thursday, the prosecution said that they were not going to call McDougal. So isn't that something? Some people are looking for an exit strategy, and after Saturday's rally of 100,000, there's a lot of terrified people around on the left. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Hey, buddy. Listen. How long was Micheal Cohen Trump's attorney before he was president?
Oh, I don't know, years. I don't know how many offhand.
So, I mean, this gigantic liar of a scumbag, no good guy, all this stuff, Trump's attorney until he becomes president. Now, after he becomes president, this whole story happens, and now Trump throws him away, discards him. Hey, it's not Trump's fault, right? Trump did absolutely nothing wrong.
What did he do wrong? What did Trump do that was illegal?
Where there's smoke, there's definitely...
Where there's smoke, there's fire? Well, I don't know where's there smoke. So you can't think of anything. You can't think of anything. So you're using some tired old-fashioned phrase. What crime did Trump commit? What crime did he commit?
It is impossible for an attorney that is a big enough scumbag that you say he is to represent a man for as numerous years as he did and not show his character to Trump while he was his personal attorney. He did, Trump always made sure that the art of the deal, which he, I guess is a capitalist's holy Bible, okay?
What now it's a bad thing to be a capitalist? I mean, what is... I mean, listen, what crime did Donald Trump commit?
I cannot tell you.
You can't tell me. I mean, there's a trial going on right now in New York. What crime did he commit that they're proving in this trial?
Brian, can I finish the sentence?
You said you couldn't think of one.
I'm trying to, but you keep interrupting me.
Oh, okay.
How can a man have an attorney like Cohen, right, and not be involved in anything he's done wrong things. But
what wrong things has Trump done that's illegal?
He has always had Cohen there to put the front up, okay?
Well, then tell us, this trial in New York, what crime have they proven that Trump committed in this trial in New York?
Unfortunately, this one trial in New York, the adultery thing with him covering up everything,
nothing. Okay, so nothing. So there's no crime. No crime in New York, you're telling. No crime has been proven. Okay. So you're clear. So this big Trump hater on the phone, you clear Trump too.
Things and mislabeled paperwork and
mislabeled paperwork. Mislabeled paperwork.
Let me try to get this guy off the hook. At this point, what you're doing is babbling.
Yes.
I'm not babbling, Steve. I mean, what you do is babble when you can't come up with a sentence. What I'm trying to do is tell you that I cannot believe you guys didn't even find a smidge of common sense. Oh my God, Donald Trump.
There you got it. I mean, even one of our biggest Trump derangement syndrome sufferers in the audience cannot name a crime. He even said in this case they got nothing. He said in this case in New York.
Your call was intended to.
No, that's Tom. I don't think so. That tells you everything you need to know. When you have Trump haters that say there's nothing there, imagine what's going through the minds of these jurors. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you? Oh, no, let's try again. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Ellen.
Hey, Ellen. What's up?
Well, some of it's confusing. The spokesperson for the spokeswoman, rather, for the thing at New Jersey said the space allotted was only could accommodate 20,000 people. So I want to know how you get 100,000 when the space is only accommodating 20,000.
There's an area where they had chairs that accommodated 20,000, but around.
Space, Brian.
No. There's a beach there. There's a surrounding area behind. It's not that it only. Well, they're wrong. When the Trump organization, they said 20,000. Whoever you're talking. When the Trump organization applied for a permit for the New Jersey rally, they had to give a number that they expected to show up. And the Trump organization said they expected between 30 and 40,000. So if the space only holds 20,000, how did they get a permit for 40,000?
I don't know. I only know that that's what they said.
Who's they?
The spokeswoman for the event.
What's her name?
Jersey.
Well, she's wrong.
name was Katie Fagan.
Well, I don't know who that is, but she's wrong or you misheard. Trump applied for was given a permit to have 40,000. So if it only held 20, they would not have given him a permit, she hung up, for 40,000. Okay? Plus, people were on the beach and outside. So whatever you heard was wrong. I tell you, Steve, they got everything. They got to try to pick everything, but we're not going to let them. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yeah, there you go. That's the liberal response, Steve. They're not doing well today. Listen, let's take our bottom of the hour break while our liberal callers regroup their thoughts. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve's here. We'll be right back.
Morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
The famous they said. You gotta love it. The famous they.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Northbound slow from Lake Worth Road to Southern Boulevard, 95 North, stop and go from Forest Hill Boulevard to 45th Street. Southbound delays from 10th Avenue North to Boynton Beach Boulevard. This traffic update is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride, the parts you need at the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they're guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. That's traffic. I'm Billy Don.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. PBKC is your entertainment destination with poker, table games, off-track betting, paddock dining, and exciting events. Visit the Paddock Restaurant. It's the ultimate dining, sports, and event experience. And this Saturday, come out, watch, wager, and win on the Preakness Stakes. There is no better place to watch the action than in the Paddock Restaurant. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day. The buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got slippers on the way too.
Go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and buy your My Pillow 2.0. Right now, buy one, get one free. You can also order by phone, toll free, 800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane.
Grab your flip-flops and get ready for a summer in paradise on Margaritaville at Sea, where cruises to the Bahamas now start at just $75 a person for a limited time. Dance the night away at our high-energy poolside parties, then settle in for island-inspired cuisine night after night with your favorite plus one. From fins up to sundown, a Bahamas getaway with Margaritaville at Sea is the perfect summer refresh. Book it today to lock in your savings on your next cruise together at margaritavillasea.com.
Are you exhausted after work with no energy left in the tank to give your family? Are you having a midday crash on a daily basis? Women, are menopause symptoms like hot flashes, anxiety, and depression making your daily life feel far more difficult than it should? Men, do you feel like you are aging far beyond what you should? Is your sexual life and relationships suffering because of disappointments in the bedroom? Then take action and let our medical team at Lighthouse Medical Center help you stop the symptoms that are holding you back. We use all natural hormone optimization therapies with precision technology to help solve your problem.
I've got the information. She talked about Lisa Fagan. I got the information. I just pulled it up.
Right now and let our medical team get you optimized and feeling the way that you should. Life is too short to be running at less than 100%. You and your family deserve the best version of you. Call us at 754-222-6642 or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right. Now, the last caller about the crowd, I looked this up, okay, during the break, did a little research, called Google. It took about 2 seconds. She said Lisa Fagan, right? Lisa Fagan said only 20. Here's what Lisa Fagan, Fagan, Lisa Fagan, a spokeswoman for the city. This is where the rally. You back with us, Steve? Okay. If you're on hold, hang in there. And Lisa Fagan is who the caller. That's who she said, right? Lisa Fagan, a spokeswoman for the city in New Jersey, where the rally was, told the Associated Press she estimated the crowd to be between 80 and 100,000. Okay, so the source that the caller said only 20,000 could fit in there. The person she referenced, Lisa Fagan, said she estimated 80 to 100,000. She based that on having seen dozens of other events in the same space. The mayor of Wildwood, probably some Trump-hating jerk, the mayor of Wildwood said the event area can accommodate 40,000. Okay, so I don't know where this 20 came from, but the spokesperson for the city is estimating 100,000. Okay, that's not the Trump organization. She's a spokesperson for the city, is estimating 100,000. All right, so let's go. You're on the yeah. As many as 6, I think, and that's including staff and press. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? No, see, this is it, Steve. This is it. This is the left. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Oh, my goodness. Yes.
To the last caller, Biden couldn't fill up a high school gymnasium, and 50% would be press.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's true. You're right about that. Yeah. No, but listen, the spokeswoman for the city is estimating 80 to 100,000. So that is not the Trump organization. It's not the Trump campaign. It's not the RNC. It's the spokesperson for that city where the rally was. It says 80 to 100. That's MSNBC, CNN, yeah, Fox. Oh, they're in a panic. I have no idea.
He speaks with an Indian accent.
No idea. You're talking about Fareed Zakaria on CNN? Yeah.
Exactly right. There are a couple on CNN that, last night I was watching it. It was unbelievable. They found God. It was unreal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is for me. If I'm wrong, I'd admit it. All right. Appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Oh, I let her go, as she said, Brian. She must have had something good next time. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Well, you're back. Okay. Well, I'm glad you called back. I looked it up. Lisa Fagan, that you named. I didn't hang up on you, by the way. The line went dead. Okay. Lisa Fagan is the name you gave. She's a spokesperson. Hear that tone? Yeah. She's a spokesperson. Yeah. She. Oh, I didn't know they were so rude in New Jersey. I know people from New Jersey that are quite polite. Lisa Fagan is the name you said that said 20,000. I looked it up. Katie Fagan. There's two Fagans now. Lisa Fagan. You must have the names right. Lisa Fagan is the doesn't it? It doesn't fit her narrative. So all of a sudden, Lisa Fagan is the spokesperson for the city. Okay, she says she estimated the crowd to be 80 to 100,000. She said she based this on having witnessed dozens of other events in the same venue. So she's the spokesperson for the city, and estimated the crowd at 80 to 100,000.
So do you know how many people live in New Jersey?
Well,
9 million people.
uh-huh.
9 million people. That would, even if it was 100, it would have been a small fraction of the rest of the country.
What does that mean?
That means that they came from all over the place. They came from Delaware.
So so what does that mean?
So, ma'am, to keep it recent, to keep it current, what was the attendance at Biden's last rally?
I'm not doing that. I'm not playing that with you.
Give me a straight honest answer.
I'm trying to make
Well, wait. Yeah, the point you made was brilliant. So you're saying that people came from other Democrat states to New Jersey. Yeah, Delaware and other ones. Yeah. So Democrats traveled from the. So what does that mean?
This idea that all these New Jerseyans were there.
Tell us how you feel about Trump.
Well, I'm just giving you the facts.
Tell us how you feel about Trump. Just the facts, ma'am. Tell us the facts about Trump.
You keep going on about how this judge for Trump is conflicted. Well, then you need to look at Clarence Thomas and his wife. She's running around.
I want to hear this. Tell me about Clarence Thomas' wife.
She's white.
I want to hear that.
Brian's going on about how this judge's wife, this judge's daughter, is involved with Democratic
Thomas's wife did.
Oh, she's a fundraiser for the Republican Party. She takes stock money from the...
She takes money? Okay, the judge's daughter in New York took $10 million from the Biden-Harris campaign and the Adam Schiff campaign. Do you have an equivalent of Clarence Thomas's wife taking $10 million from someone whose case was going to be in front of her husband's courtroom?
Please, don't get it twisted.
Yeah. Do you have an example of Clarence Thomas's wife taking $10 million from someone who had a case before Clarence Thomas?
Well, there's no difference there to me.
Yeah.
Than Clarence and his wife.
But you haven't given us an example. Slow down. I know you're from Jersey. Slow down. And you didn't go to the Trump rally. So I know you're a little slow. The judge's daughter took $10 million from Biden-Harris and Adam Schiff's campaign, right? Who are, of course, running against Donald Trump. You're saying that Clarence Thomas and his wife are dirty. Do you have an example of Clarence Thomas's wife taking millions of dollars from someone who had a case going before him?
You tell me because she's taken so much stock.
Well, just pick one. Pick one example where Clarence Thomas's wife has taken millions of dollars from someone who had a case that was going to be in front of her husband.
Rather than stammer and stutter all over, if you don't have an example, just say, no, I can't back it up.
Yeah.
No, I can back it up.
Then do it.
It's a secret. It's no
Who's
secret.
the person?
Yeah. Tell us.
What's that guy that...
Yeah, that guy, Steve. Yeah.
I get you. What's your name?
Yeah, that guy.
Brian.
Go look it up. I got to do your research? No. I don't have to do your research. You said that Clarence Thomas is dirty. I feel like I'm doing elder abuse at this point, Steve. I mean, this is like,
Let's be nice.
Clarence Thomas.
Clarence
Jenny Thomas was complicit with January 5th.
Well, I'm waiting for the bribe money.
She's involved, heavily involved in the Republican Party. So maybe Clarence
What
Thomas
did
should
Jenny
be
Thomas
using
have to
stuff.
do with January 6th?
Oh my God, she was text messaging Mark Meadows nonstop.
Mark Meadows. What did she text Mark Meadows? Mark Meadows, Chief of Staff for Trump. What did she text him? What did she text him?
She was texting him all kinds of things about not let him fall. Let's,
Texting? So she was voicing opinions. I'm waiting for the crime.
Oh, come on, Brian.
No, I'm serious. Where's the crime?
Bad enough.
Facts?
Yeah, exactly. You're just here to slander. You can't back up anything you've said.
All this money that Clarence Thomas and Jenny Thomas have taken from people.
They've taken from people.
Who isn't it?
The interracial marriage?
Clarence Thomas, because it's an
Millions and millions of dollars, millions and dollars worth of yacht trips, airline.
She sounds drunk.
I ask you
No, go
again,
ahead.
this way, try to
Look it up.
take a breath.
Look it up.
I'm going to
Don't
ask you
believe me?
again the
Look it
question
up.
about
Look it up, Steve.
made up the facts. So
Yeah.
you give me yours. You're saying that because of the interracial marriage, that doesn't affect your thinking about Clarence Thomas.
No, absolutely not.
No,
It's
you
the
don't
fact
have a
that
bigger
she...
you don't have a bigger
but
than
she-
bone in your body, right?
No, it's just that she's
it's
an activist.
An activist.
Activist for the...
That's not a crime. The judge's daughter, the daughter of the judge in New York. By the way, the judge's wife donated to Biden's campaign, but his daughter not only took the $10 million, she's raised almost $100 million, promising that Trump's going to go to prison. So why is it okay? Yes, she's raised. Yeah, you're just not informed. She has raised almost $100 million from Democrat donors on the promise that Trump will go to jail.
I can't believe you guys.
It's hard to believe, but even she's speechless, Steve. Listen, we got to run. Thank you for the call, and we'll be right back.
Hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
What? Okay, I get. What are we doing? We're back, Steve, and every once in a while we have to prove to the audience that we are live. We got William Young. Okay, it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman and Court. We keep losing the call from Youngerman. Okay, I don't know what we're going to do. I think you might get the amateur gold report. Well, let's wait. I'll wait a minute or two, and if we can't get him, I'll do the amateur gold report, which is really weak and embarrassing, but I will do it in a minute. Let's take a call first. You're on the air. Yes, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
All right. Good morning. Ivy and Howard. Hey.
Here are the personality changes when you're on the air. It's time to perform, I guess, so you have to pep it up.
What are you talking about, Willis?
Yeah. Go ahead. Yes.
How come you let some people back on the air for second time? It's supposed to be a rule. And I wanted to call back yesterday when you were like up against the break when we were.
Okay. Good question. Good question. You said, why do you let some people back on twice and I didn't let you back on? That's the question? Okay. So what's the question?
There's the question of statement. When we're talking about, I was getting to the point where the 100,000 people in the rally on Saturday. Well.
Oh, okay. Why did I? Okay, I appreciate the call, Ivy. Why did I let the old lady back on? I let the old lady back on because two reasons. One, we take the calls screenless, so people get through sometimes twice instead of just once. That break the rule. But the second point is, I had looked up, she hung up the first time, I had looked up what she had said, okay, and I had the facts of the person she had referenced, so I let her back on so that I could expose her to answer your question. All right, we're having some trouble getting William Youngerman on the line today, Steve, so we're going to get the amateur gold report. And the amateur gold report is me going to WilliamYoungerman.com and reading you the numbers, but I will tell you, the metals are looking good. I mean, Steve, we're in an area with gold that I thought gold would hit like in the year 2,400, okay? I mean, it's because I remember gold was $435 an ounce when we first met. And yeah, and when I said, Steve, gold has been around for 5,000 years. It's $435 an ounce, which is a lot of money, but how much higher can it go? And I was like Albert Brooks in Defending Your Life, basically. Do you want to check and see if that's him? That might be him before we finish. If it is, I won't give the amateur gold report. Give me a thumbs up. It is, okay. The audience has been spared. They're not going to get the amateur gold report, but even though the last few minutes of the show have sounded like amateur hour, we're going to get the real thing on the line from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated. William Youngerman with the professional gold and precious metals report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking today?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air, William Youngerman. We've been having trouble with the phones. How are the metals looking this morning?
Metals looking good right now. We got gold. It was down yesterday, giving us a little buying opportunity as we've seen it come down to the lower 2,300, got down to 23.35.70 on the close, down $24. Silver was up 2 cents, closing out the day at $28.15 to the ounce. Platinum gained $5 at $9.98, and palladium was down $16 at $9.49. This morning, we got a little bit of a rebound again. Gold up $9.80 at $23.45.50. Silver up 15 cents at $28.30. Platinum up $10 at $1,008, back over $1,000 now on platinum. And palladium up $11 at $9.60. So we still see strong support for gold around the $2,300 number, strong support for silver at $28. So anywhere near those numbers, certainly a great buying opportunity. But if you don't have any precious metals in your portfolio at this time, it's time to buy this. Platinum.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Father's Day is coming up, and dads, we take gold on Father's Day. I'll let you all know that, ladies. You know, I want to ask you, though, because this is a time where people that have never been involved in the metals are getting involved, and, you know, at these incredible prices right now, someone may not have enough for maybe a whole ounce, but there's fractional gold. There's basically gold for every budget. Can you tell people about fractional gold, what it is, and what forms that it comes in?
Sure. Fractional gold comes in either bars or coins. Coins start at about a 1/10 ounce coin, go to 1/4, half, and 1 ounce sizes. And then we have gold bars as small as 1 gram. So that's a real small item, and they're carded and guaranteed and everything. So we have beautiful things that make wonderful gifts and ways of giving something that will last for a long time.
Absolutely. And, you know, the reason I ask about fractional gold is, you know, no matter what your situation is, there's gold for pretty much every budget there is when you look at the fractional gold. And those fractional coins, by the way, they come from the major mints like the U.S. Mint and others, and they are beautiful coins. And the bars you're talking about in those cards, they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, and they're gold, all right? William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m., You can give him a call toll-free, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, online, williamyoungerman.com, or stop in, the address 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, back after this. All right, we'll try to recover and make this sound like a professional broadcast for the next 8 minutes. It happens, man. I've had worse things happen on the air. That old lady that called in, that is such a great call. That's my favorite call of the week so far. It's only Tuesday, right? But it's my favorite call of the week. I don't know, Millie from Jersey. I don't know. I didn't catch her first. I forgot her first name. But that is 100% Trump derangement syndrome. Now, I don't know if she has stage 4. She might be stage 2 or 3. She's not full-blown. But nothing Trump can do is right. And, I mean, you look at this crowd in Jersey, for example. She's in New Jersey, so she takes personal offense that President Trump had this rally there. That rally in New Jersey was an American political record. No president, No presidential candidate has ever had that many people turn up for a speech, ever. Okay? They keep saying that Roosevelt did it in 32. That is not true. Okay? There was the party boss, the Democrat party boss of Jersey had been supporting FDR's opponent during the primary. I don't remember who that was. Do you, Steve? You may have been. No, Steve wasn't born yet. Close, but not quite yet. But Roosevelt was winning the nomination, and the party boss was trying to get back into FDR's favor. So they threw an event at Salt Grit, New Jersey. Now, keep in mind, this is 1932, right? The height of the Great Depression. There's a famine going on in America. They gave free meals to everyone who showed up. So people came from all around to get the free meals during the Great Depression, a famine. That was not people showing up to see Roosevelt. And I know the media are trying to tell, oh, well, he did just what Roosevelt did in 1932, and Roosevelt's really bigger because the population was smaller. It's all lies, okay? All lies. That was the largest political crowd for a presidential candidate or president in the history of the United States. And,
general mode of campaigning.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you hear that woman, the Trump derangement syndrome suffering Democrat, and it just drives her nuts. So she gives me a name. This lady I saw on TV, she said, so I look up the lady, I get the fact, then all of a sudden it's a different lady, she said, and all this stuff. They just can't see straight. And, we didn't support Obama when he was running, and we were not happy when he won in 2008, but we did something that I think would shock people that we did this. Some of you that were around with us in 2008 remember this. The Obama campaign was a pretty nasty one, okay? Steve and I did some things that nobody else did. I went out and got Obama's autobiography on CD. It was 5 CDs. And Obama, of course, being in love with himself, narrated his own autobiography, complete narcissist. And I went through his autobiography and took sound bites that we used to play. Remember that? And he said some of the most racist things you've ever heard a man say. We had Jeremiah Wright. We had all that stuff. Joe the Plumber. We had everything. It was a nasty year of campaigning. And Obama was very popular because a lot of people wanted to vote for the first black president. So we did. And we knew about everything about him. I'm not going to rehash it all. Exactly. Yeah, we did. We had everything first. We had the birth certificate first on this program. The birth certificate was started by one of the leaders of Hillary Clinton's campaigns, I want to say in Pennsylvania, and we did, if not the first, one of the first 2 interviews on the birth certificate about Obama on this program. Okay, we're very active in it, and when Obama got elected, and on Inauguration Day, okay, we did something that shocked a lot of people. We said this was it. This was Inauguration Day. Steve and I came on the air and we said we lost. We spent the whole year trying to tell the audience the truth about this guy. We lost, and we said we're going to wipe the slate clean. All this stuff we're not going to talk about anymore. We're only going to talk about new things, new scandals with Obama. Now, it didn't take more than 6 minutes for a new scandal to pop up, but all that Jeremiah Wright and the birth certificate, all that stuff, we said we're going to start from scratch, and we said we're going to give him give him a chance. We're going to give him a clean slate and give him a chance. And a lot of people said, you guys, how could you forget about Wright and all that stuff? We said, don't worry, right? Don't worry, there'll be more. And sure enough, there was. When you lose, you lose. And when you're losing, you're losing. But these Trump derangements, and believe me, we weren't happy when Obama won. It was bad news. And then he wrecked the healthcare industry, and it was a mess. But at least, and now they run all the schools and everything. And these Trump derangement syndrome sufferers, they can't do that. no matter what this guy does, they're trying to find fault in it. You know, they just can't accept anything. And then when you push them on it, then they move on to Clarence Thomas. Then they got nothing there. You know, the charges against President Trump, no matter what claim they make, always are unfounded, always evaporate, and he's always completely 100% cleared. And I understand that's frustrating. We've lost many elections. It's not fun. I don't like it. Okay? Certainly Obama. That was bad. Obama's a bad dude. I mean, look what this whole thing that happened.
Yeah.
This whole thing at the colleges, Seinfeld, that happened over the weekend. That's all Obama's doing. Okay? And, you know, Obama, when he was in college, not law school, when he was in college, I'll give you an example. He traveled to Pakistan when he was in his first 4 years of college and had a personal meeting with the Prime Minister of Pakistan. What kind of guy in his second year of college has that kind of juice that he's meeting with the Prime Minister of Pakistan? You know what I mean? And I mean, this guy is so well connected. You know, some of the stuff we had on Frank Marshall Davis, nobody had. We had Obama's registration form for kindergarten in Indonesia in his mother's own handwriting when she wrote down religion, Islam. Remember all that? You know, all that stuff. We told you about this guy. And believe me, when he won, not only were we not happy, we were terrified. But we sucked it up, and we rode through the 8 years, and you know, and we got through it. You know, we're paying for it today at Columbia and all this stuff. But these Trump haters, they just can't man up like we did, Steve, is basically what I'm saying here. When you lose, you lose. You got to deal with it. There'll be another election. You know, Trump's only got 4 years left. He's only got one more term, okay? Then you'll get a chance with Gavin Newsom in 2028 or something, okay? Good luck with that. All right, we're out of time for today. I'm Brian. Steve Kane, of course, is here. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the radio. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Take care, everyone. And, of course, God bless Donald Trump. See you tomorrow. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and everyone else, like the video.